That's been spicy.
This is gonna get spicy.
Animorphs After Dark.
Animorphs Nights.
Played some soft jazz.
We could have Animorphs Nights.
Yeah, where we just talk about like dicks and butts and stuff.
Yeah, but also Animorphs, where it's like they're fucking, like they're really fucking, and then they acquire each other, they turn into each other, and then they kind of reverse it and they're fucking.
Yeah, let me tell you, this book has revealed a lot of new fetishes you could have. Mm-hmm. Because acts can turn into like half of something. Like, for example, if I wanted to have sex with myself, I'd be like, axe, turn into half me and half a sexy babe.
Please acquire the sexiest babe you can and put my head on it. I'm going to drill it. I'm going to drill it real good until I shoot.
Do you think Marco would suggest that? Because he's had some, like, dreams about a lady on a beach.
I mean, he did mention Baywatch dreams.
Was it Baywatch?
Yeah, they name-checked Baywatch.
Like Pamela Anderson?
Well, he said the lady...
Pamela Henderson?
He said the lady from Baywatch.
Was it lady?
Yeah, he said lady.
Was it Hasselhoff?
It could have been Hasselhoff.
They can't tell you their names. They can't tell you where they live, but in the mid to late 90s, these 5 teenagers can turn into animals to fight an invading army of evil brain slugs. 5 dumb teens are the only thing standing in the way of complete annihilation. This is Anamorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Get your hand off my girlfriend, you yerk-brained bastard!
This is for Daddy. Make it like half the bottle.
Catherine Alice Applegate wouldn't want this. Doesn't want this.
He gets really, really aroused every time he kills someone with his scorpion tail.
Oh man, being 12 was weird.
Okay.
Let's get this bitch started, shall we?
Yeah, let's crack open one of these, these dark ones.
Well, before we crack open a dark one, let's say welcome to Anamorphin Time with Nate and Tyler. I'm Tyler.
I'm Nate.
There's Nate, and we're here on number 4, The Message.
We're here, and we love Animorphs.
And we love Animorphs. We love it.
Okay, so since like we've only gone through like 3 books.
Not there yet.
No, but I'm just saying that we've gone through 3 books. This is our 4th book, and I'm still loving Animorphs.
Yeah, still reading it yesterday again. I thought, do I love this because I'm spending a lot of energy on it, or is it good? And I still haven't decided.
Well, you've been corrupted with the lenses of nostalgia, where I am coming into this brand new, no nostalgia. I knew that it existed, and that's all as far as I knew about Animorphs.
That's true. Listener, you can't trust anything I say about this.
That's right. It's been tainted.
It's been tainted. So this.
But, like, I still love it. And I have not, like, I'm coming to this fresh. They're good books.
All right, that's it. That's a wrap on number 4,
right,
The Message. It's good.
Yep. Okay.
So this is Cassie. On the cover, we have Cassie turning into a dolphin.
Yeah.
And our tagline is, sometimes you have to change a little more than your mind. So, in honor of changing a little more, let's change our mind into a little more inebriated. Today we are drinking Elysian Split Shot Espresso Milk Stout.
Ooh, it's because I'm tired.
It's because I'm tired. There's espresso. It's going to wake us up. Let's
Okay, here we go.
get that. Ooh, like it. There's one for you.
Oh, great. Let's go. Sip in there. Okay.
And we got one for me.
Ooh, good.
Those are my keys. Got my keychain on the keys, or my bottle opener on the keys there.
We're talking about the book.
We're on number 4, yeah. It's Cassie, young African-American girl, jumping from the water, and as she's jumping into the air, she's morphing into a dolphin. It's number 4, The Message. So where are we at in the story so far? Give us something quick.
Well, okay, so the recap of the 3rd story is Tobias is now okay to be a bird.
Yep.
Like, that's, to sum up what is a very excellent book, is the war is still on with the Yerks, and everyone's still kind of just trucking.
Yeah, they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what to do with these powers, and...
Right. And there's no, like, it didn't end on a cliffhanger the last book.
No,
right? There's no, like, real new information.
No.
Except just, like, we got to learn a bit more about Tobias, and this one we get to learn a bit more about Cassie.
Yeah.
Which I've been looking forward to because, I was telling about you this earlier, is I always thought, like, Cassie is kind of a boring background character.
Right.
She's the one that's good at morphing and has the farm.
Right. All they really say about her, she's good at morphing, she's introspective and thoughtful, and she dresses ugly.
And also, she's a good narrative crutch for, like, we need to find an animal. Oh, she has that barn full of every animal you could want.
Her family's got a barn full of injured animals that they can just go and acquire, which... It's
right, and it's a family of vets, so they can go to the gardens to get stuff. So,
I mean, and that barn is where we start this book off.
Yeah.
Cassie's sneaking out to the barn to turn into a squirrel because something's been eating her injured animals. So she's like, I'm going to turn into a squirrel. So whatever's killing these animals, I'm going to figure it out by being precious food for them.
It's the same, like, thinking that Rachel had with the shrew, which is just like, I'm going to turn into bait and then figure it out later.
Yeah.
And by figure it out later, it's Tobias coming and saving my ass.
Yeah, but Cassie didn't even plan Tobias saving her ass. She just...
There was no plan.
There was no plan. She morphs into a squirrel. Tobias hops into the barn. And Tobias looks at her and is like, oh, shit. I want to eat that. And Cassie's, like, lost in the mind of this scared-ass squirrel named Magilla.
Well, half scared, half, like, looking for food. Like... You know, a good part of chapter 1 is dedicated to, like, a squirrel being fascinated about a nut.
Yeah, it was, let's put that nut in my mouth and run with it.
Wait, there's a nut. Ooh, a nut. And don't put any sexual overtones on that. It's
I don't know what could possibly be sexual about me saying I want a nut in my mouth and then run away.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you out. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, it's on the up and up.
I'm more about nutting in mouths than getting nuts in my mouth. Get that on the record.
Okay. Oh, wait. Was that a nut? I helped over the nut. Yes, a chestnut. I seized it in my little front claws and began immediately to chew a hole in it. Excellent. Wonderful. Chestnut.
Yeah, that's what it's called when you nut on someone's chest. It's called a chestnut.
Don't drop the nut. Run with the nut. Run. Listen, I'm just quoting the book. This is the book talking here.
I often have to yell, don't drop the nut, and then run. I gotta get back on the rails.
Yeah,
here.
like we really need to focus on what's happening. This is the Cassie book.
Yeah, the thoughtful, kind character. I can't stop talking about nutting.
Well, here's the thing: she's the one that has the clearest romantic arc.
Yes,
right. Like if we're actually talking about it, like she's the one that I think has the most complex emotions about relationships. Right. I feel like
she not just romantically, but also interpersonal and friendship.
Right. She feels a lot. She's a person who feels. Which is why I think she's so good at morphine. Like, they don't outright declare that's why she's good at morphine, but her connection with other things.
Yeah, she has a connection with animals and humans that's about the same as we're seeing from this book.
Right. Which is why she turns into the squirrel. Yeah. Because she I think, here's what I think. I think she turned into the squirrel because she cares so much for the animals that she's taking care of. Right? That she's like, I need to figure this out, and this is the only way. There's risks involved, but I don't care.
Right. And as we see in this book, she takes risks like that. There's this and there's the ending, which we'll get into the ending.
And not for like thrill seeking, but for, you know, a purpose.
Exactly. So. And one thing that I think is really great about her is that she is always conscious of the animal she's acquiring. Like she always wants their permission, and she feels bad if she feels like she's not getting their permission. Right. Which is what happens with the dolphins later.
Right, that's the soul of this book. But let's keep on moving forward. So in chapter 2...
Yeah, Tobias flies in, starts eyeballing this delicious-looking squirrel.
Right, and she doesn't immediately say, oh, wait, red-tailed hawk, hey, Tobias, what's up?
No, it says, Tobias flew in through the hayloft overhead. Unfortunately, in my squirrel mentality, with my human brain just barely holding on, I didn't realize it was Tobias. What it looked like to me was a red-tailed hawk, a bird of prey, and this one was not in a cage. No, this one was flapping around the high rafters of the barn. The hawk had talons like steel and a hooked beak that could open me up like a can of beans. I felt the hawk's eyes on me. Run, 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 run. I didn't know what to do. I mean, me, the human being named Cassie. I didn't know what to do. I knew I had to get control over the squirrel, but it was so hyper. However, the squirrel knew just what to do. Zoom!
So, like, I think this talks about Cassie's passivity as a character. She's always looking for somebody else kind of to tell her what to do a little bit. And so, like, the squirrel brain, like, is telling her what to do here. It's just like, run. The human brain can't process it because the human brain is a little bit scared, too. If she thought it out, of course, it's Tobias.
Right. She would know right away.
Right, but the squirrel brain is just kind of has influenced her enough to, like, not use the human brain part.
Yeah, and I think that passivity is almost her defining trait. is she's always
one of her defining
man,
traits.
Let's go with the flow. Good vibes only.
I mean, Cassie's all about good vibes.
She is definitely the good vibes character, which we appreciate good vibes magic here. This is pro good vibes podcast.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking you're going to get bad vibes here, hit stop. Go listen to something else.
There are some bad. We were just talking about nutting.
Nutting is the ultimate good vibe.
Is it?
Nutting is how we pass our good vibes onto the world. It's how we secure more good vibes.
I've never given you my good vibes.
You want to?
Pause. Stop podcast.
We're about to have exploration of friendship here. No, it's...
Yeah, so she just runs from Tobias, like,
Right,
and starts freaking out. And
it
then,
has a good description of how the squirrel just runs up the wall, but it didn't feel like she was running up the wall. It felt like she was running normally. She just happened to be on the wall.
Right.
Because the squirrel is so agile and nimble, which I think Catherine Alice Applegate is really good at describing what it feels like to be a human in an animal's body and the wonder of being in an animal's body.
well, and also, like, I always think of... When I put my mind into somebody else or something else, like, it's always... weighs roughly like 180 to 2 some odd pounds. Right. So the idea of like a 10-pound squirrel is so foreign to me that, like, of course it's not going to have a problem climbing up a wall.
I think a squirrel weighs 10 pounds, huh?
I don't know what pounds mean.
That's a thick snack squirrel you got right there.
Oh Lord, he's coming.
Send me more nuts.
Okay, but see, like that just goes to the point. I don't know what, like, you know, sub 10 pounds. I don't know what that means.
No.
Like, moving around wise, I'm sure it is just like you were just kind of flying out because gravity affects you differently. Right, and like that's a very good observation on our end because
I think
you
so.
wouldn't know. So she gets up in the rafters, escapes from Tobias.
Well,
and
Tobias is looking at her.
Yeah.
Pretty much, she describes him pretty much as licking his lips, sharpening his claws.
And then in comes the fox,
Yeah, and
who's
then-
also doing the same thing.
And then in comes through a tiny hole as a fox head. And Cassie notices the fox head as she's jumping off the wall away from Tobias.
Right.
The fox head pops in, looks up at her, and opens its mouth. And so she's falling into this fox's mouth.
Yeah.
Misses the fox's mouth, runs away. Fox is snapping at her, trying to eat. When it finally clicks, she's like, Tobias, kill this fox. And he's like, Cassie, I wanted to eat you. What are you doing, girl? And so, what does Tobias do? Tobias does the one thing he does the most.
Well, he doesn't snatch the fox's eyes. He kills it.
He goes for it. He rakes it with its talon.
Yeah, well, okay, he doesn't kill it. Like, the fox gets away. But,
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I came out here because I couldn't sleep. I wanted to see what was eating these animals. I've been having these strange dreams.
Right, and, well, Cassie's the one that brings up the strange dreams first.
She does, doesn't she?
Yeah,
She says, I'm out here because I can't sleep because I've been having weird dreams.
Right, well, you skipped one key part, and which is, she turns out of a squirrel because, you know, she's terrified by the experience, and then, like, her dad comes in.
Oh, yeah, the dad who sees her with a squirrel tail.
And, like, the dad seems, I guess he's just perpetually asleep.
Yeah,
like,
Cassie talks about how he needs, like, 6 hours and 8 cups of coffee to be fully awake.
well, he's spending all his days, like, taking care of animals, I guess. So,
Yeah, he
like,
comes in like a
he's just
bubbling
tired.
idiot.
And he's like, oh, I thought for a second there that you had a squirrel tail. Well, I'm just being the silly old pep.
Yeah, I'm just, it's just, I guess it's just me being tired. Catch you later.
Funny gag.
It's
fine.
I mean, I guess it's technically humor. And that's when Cassie says, when he left, I collapsed back on the straw. I really should have just stayed in bed. I said to Tobias, dreams or no dreams. Dreams? He snapped. What kind of dreams? I shrugged. I don't know. These kind of weird dreams about the sea. The sea, he echoed, and a voice calling out to you from beneath the water. It was warm in the barn, but suddenly I felt really cold.
Right, so both of them are getting the message.
The message. That's the name of the book.
Yeah, that's right. They're getting a message. I love clear themes in books.
Kathy Apple, you did it, girl. You did it.
Hey, well, they didn't say we're getting a message.
No.
I don't think they've ever done call it the book title in the book yet.
And you know what? Honestly, I think this is Kathy Apple.
Sure.
Kathy
Cathles.
Cathles coming into her own quickly summarizing the story and getting into the crux of this new story. This happens in 2 chapters. Other books, it's taken 3-4 chapters to get there.
Yeah, now that I'm getting more used to her style too, I've noticed the way that she ends chapters is always on that lost cliffhanger ending of like, I'm going to drop a bomb and then leave.
Yeah.
Right? And like that's on every single chapter, which is a great way to do kids' books because they need that motivation to keep on reading.
Kids have to keep reading. And now that adults basically only consume child media.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all over the place, which is why all these fucking Marvel movies, that's every goddamn one is a cliffhanger.
They never end.
They never, ever will end. And we fucking love it. We slurp it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slurping up this book.
I mean, yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah, like, I wanted to keep on reading. And, like, hey, you want to figure out what the message of the sea is? Let's move on to chapter 3.
It's an interesting hook because it's like, oh, Tobias has it too.
Yeah, so
here's Tobias again with his deeper connection to all of this shit.
Right, and they bring it to the group, and everyone's like, no, that's stupid. What are you talking about? Like, Marco talks about his weird dreams about Elmo, you know,
it wasn't Elmo, it was Mr. Rogers.
No, it says Elmo.
Does he say Elmo?
Yeah, hold on, I'll read it to you. No, I haven't had any weird dreams about the sea, Marco said. I've had weird dreams about my sheets trying to strangle me. I've had weird dreams about falling from way up high and then when I finally land, I'm in Sesame Street talking to Elmo.
No.
I've had weird dreams about that woman who lifeguards at the beach.
No. Mine's different.
Difference in books. Mine's the Kindle version. What does yours say?
Mine's the first edition, and it says, no, I haven't had any weird dreams about the sea, Marco said. I've had weird dreams about my sheets trying to strangle me.
Okay.
I've had weird dreams about falling from way up high. Okay. When I finally land, I'm in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood talking to King Friday.
Why did
I've had weird dreams about that woman on Baywatch. So that's the same. When we were in Thailand, I said, why is Marco talking about Mr. Rogers? As someone who was Marco's age, I was younger when this came out, I didn't know about Mr. fucking Rogers. I thought it was boring shit, and he's like, yeah, I love this.
I think I just encoded the secret. You have an older version of this book, and you had to look up who Mr. Friday was because you had no clue.
I was like, who the fuck is this for?
The reason why they changed it to Sesame Street is because that's still like culturally relevant. So they've changed these books, the cultural references, to match. So we're reading 2 different versions when we read these books.
Oh my god. It's like we got the same message, but it's slightly different.
Is it Berenstein or Berenstain?
I'm Tobias. You're Cassie.
I call it Berenstein.
I said Berenstein Bears.
Yeah, who says Berenstain? I never really...
I think it was East Coast people.
Yeah, it's something.
They're not. If you say Berenstain, we don't want you to listen to this. Turn it off.
Yeah, please turn it off.
Go to a Bad Vibes Berenstain podcast.
Why don't you go to your dark universe?
So yeah, Rachel says, you have dreams about King Friday? What does it say on yours?
You had dreams about Elmo.
What?
Yeah, because it was a Sesame Street thing.
But later in this chapter, Marco has the only funny joke he's ever made, and it's Mr. Rogers related.
What's the joke?
So,
well, here, let's get there, and then we'll
keep going. So they're at Rachel's talking about how Tobias and Cassie had these weird dreams.
Right.
And the other group members are like, no, we ain't had no dreams. You're fucking stupid.
Yeah, and this chapter is also the character description chapter, where they talk about every single, Jake's our leader, and Marco's the funny one.
The funny one who complains.
And Rachel's the strong and brave one, who apparently also, posts the Art of War quotes on her wall.
That was in mine, too.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Because I read that, I was like, holy shit, there's a Sun Tzu quote?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Rachel's turning libertarian.
Which I think is a great little detail about the changes in Rachel so far.
Yeah.
Because Marco's still just, he's the funny one who complains, who never wants to help. Jake's our leader. Jake's a shitbag. He's nothing.
Yeah, Cassie, to paraphrase, she's like, oh yeah, I used to be Tiger Beats quotes and stuff like that on the wall, and now it's Sun Tzu.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And they also mention how Tobias used to be uncomfortable when they'd make comments about him being a bird, but now he's like, yeah, I'm a bird.
Yeah. So this is the first book where they're just kind of used to it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this is who we are now, except for Jake, who will probably never have a real personality. And Marco,
he's the stunt. He wants to be a stuntman.
Yeah, they describe Jake as cute, kind of big-looking, strong leader. And in this book, he makes no choices.
He makes no decisions, does nothing like a leader. But everyone's like, oh yeah, he's kind of our leader. He's a prince.
He's kind of like the boss around here. I'm kind of the boss around here. I'm Jake. I can't tell you my last name, but I'm the boss.
Does jack shit.
Nothing.
Like a real boss, if we're being honest.
But Cassie does a great job, or I guess the author does a great job of showing these subtle changes for the characters whose heads we've been in, which I think is great.
Yeah, because honestly, I was getting bored of these character descriptions.
Yeah.
We've been doing this every single book, and we probably will do it every single book.
Yeah,
but like, it'll give the frequent reader like something new to notice.
Right.
So
and
I'm cool with it.
This book, throughout the whole story of it, I think changes Marco in the eyes of the reader as well.
Yeah,
because
big time.
Marco's always been sort of an acidic character who's just always been kind of a shit. And this one, there's growth for him.
Yeah, he's always come across as what you would imagine like a junior high-year-old boy is. Like, you know.
Junior high-year-old boy.
But I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
a kid from junior high who's always just like thinking about tits and just being a shitbag.
Yeah, he's always like, I don't want to be a Falcon. I want to drive a fucking Ferrari.
Yeah, he wants to drive a
so I can
Ferrari
cruise for tits.
and cruise for babes because like nobody would think that was cool except a kid in junior high and
Right.
like shitty adults.
Yeah,
You know?
God, a lot of shitty adults. That's their fantasy.
I mean, hey, some people don't move on from junior high, right? So, anyways, they do the character descriptions, and then Jake says, "Hey, you need to check out this tape."
Yeah.
Right, because he I think that's why they called the meeting, right? It's probably like Jake had big news with this news report they recorded.
Do you remember when we were talking about this?
Yeah.
And you said, "Oh, there was that dig about the video cassette."
Do you have that?
I don't have that.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He pulls out. Here's what mine says.
Yeah.
Rachel, Jake interrupted. I think I have something that may be interesting. He pulled a video cassette out of his bag. Cool, let's watch a movie, Marco said. Not a movie, Jake said. I guess no one else watched the late news last night? Nothing on that.
Really? Oh, man, that sucks.
And then it's, Rachel, can we go downstairs and use your VCR? Sure, Rachel said. We trooped down the stairs, except for Tobias, who fluttered down above our heads.
Okay, that's the same. So here's what I have. Okay, Rachel, Jake interrupted. I have something that might be interesting. He pulled a video cassette out of his bag. Cool, a piece of prehistoric technology, Marco said. Not everyone has a DVR, Jake said. I guess no one else watched the late news last night. And that's what it talks about. So that was kind of to clarify what a VHS tape is for kids.
That's the joke you had?
Yeah.
My Marco joke is actually funny.
What's your joke?
So he says, cool, let's watch a movie, Marco said. Not a movie, Jake said. I guess no one else watched the late news last night? Marco says, I was busy watching my taped reruns of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Marco said.
Okay, mine has
giving Rachel a sly look. Last night is the one where it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Which I think is a clever joke.
Yeah, there's a joke there that I didn't read. Okay, I was busy watching reruns of Sesame Street, Marco said, giving Rachel a sly look. Last night it was the one where there was a sunny day sweeping the clouds away. Less funny, because like whatever, the Mr. Rogers one is more iconic, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
sunny day, sweeping the clouds away. Split shot beer. Can you tell me
how to get some therapy help? All right, moving on.
Oh,
right,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So they're watching this tape of the news.
So they watch the tape and they see this guy, like they're interviewing some dude on a beach, and he holds up this weird looking medal, and they see that the medal's got some crazy language on it. And they're like, well, who cares? It's just got some language on it. Jake's like, well, when I went in to Prince Elfie's ship to get the magic box that made us Animorphs, I'm making Jake more interesting than he was.
No, like you should make Jake sound like a simp because he's a simp. He's got like nothing going on in that smooth brain of his.
Yeah. Okay. Let me take that again. When I went into Prince Elfie's ship, he made me get the magic box that we touched to become Animorphs. And when I was in that ship, I saw that writing. The writing on that piece of metal that the man on TV holds is Andalite.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jake.
I'm the boss. I'm the boss, and I would like to not make decisions.
We always just kind of thought of Jake as our boss, our leader. He just has a natural talent for it.
He just has a natural talent for it. Yeah, I would like to be a stuntman. I could jump off building, turn into a bird, and it looked very good on TV.
He would just fly away as a bird. Honestly, I'm going to keep on referencing that dumb stuntman quote because it describes his character perfectly.
Yeah, he's got no dreams.
Right. So anyways, they see that like, oh, if there's alien wreckage, Andalite wreckage, then there's another ship.
Yeah, something happens, and what happens is Cassie immediately blacks out.
Right.
That's how the chapter ends.
Yeah.
Cassie's like, peace out from this plane of existence. I'm out.
Suddenly, without warning, I felt the ground swirl beneath me. I fell straight back, not even caring that Jake caught me in his arms just before I hit the carpet. And she cares. She cares a lot that Jake caught her in his big, simple arms.
His big, simple, strong arms.
His big working arms.
I picked for you this bush. Pulled it straight from the ground with my big, simple arms. Oh, Jesus. So chapter 4 starts. I was falling into the sea. Splash. I hit the water, but I still fell, down and down and down through blue-green, sunlit layers of water. I'm here, a voice called to me. I am here. I cannot survive much longer. If you hear me, come. If you hear me, come.
Don't.
Suddenly I opened my eyes. I stared up at Jake's concerned face. Glancing across the room, I saw Rachel with the telephone to her ear preparing to dial. She's awake, Jake said. I'd still better call an ambulance, Rachel said. And Marco...
No, it's too expensive. America, am I right, everybody?
It's $2,500 for her being probably just dehydrated.
No, Marco says it's too big of a risk.
Right.
Which is true, right?
Which, they've been doing this subtle thing with Marco over the last 2 books, and this one included, where he is the smart one who's like, no, this plan's dumb. Here's how I can make it better.
Yeah, he's has that prepper mentality where he thinks about every single thing that can go wrong, and he's usually right.
He's usually right. He's smart. He's
like, everyone come to the house separately, make sure that you don't speak over anything on the phone because the phones could be tapped.
Right.
You know, don't call the ambulance because they could be tapping the phones, and if a yerk-brained, bastard comes in the ambulance and sees these 4 teens, who knows what they think?
Get your hand off my girlfriend, you yerk-brained bastard! Oh my god, I love that phrase, yerk-brained bastard.
It's good!
Woo! But he's also like, you know what, we can't explain why she passed out or why there's a sleepy red-tailed hawk here. Let's not call an ambulance, you fucking idiots.
Very smooth.
He's smart.
Yeah.
And that sort of leads into Tobias also passed out at the exact same time.
Well, and Rachel does the thing that Rachel's supposed to do, is like push back in. It's like, no, listen, I'm helping my friend. I'm calling 911 right now.
Right.
Because that is her personality.
Yeah.
And I like seeing these kind of things actually like come to head a little bit more. Like I like that drama, that clash.
Yeah.
Just like Rachel's going to protect her friend, even if it means being suspicious.
Right. Above all, she's going to save her friends.
Right.
She will sacrifice everything to save her friends.
Including her friends, which is a problem.
Yeah, which she did. Yeah, she's like, I'm going to send you all to Yerk prison to save Cassie, who's not sick.
Anyways.
And she and Tobias come to. Tobias, his first reaction, they say, is all hawk, where he just puffs up real big and looks like a scary bird.
I love Tobias.
I fucking love him.
I love it.
And so Cassie says, everybody stand still, I said quickly. It's okay, Tobias. You were just out for a minute there. So they're trying to...
turn him back into a human.
They're trying to calm down this bird. It's like, never forget who you are, Tobias. You're one of us. You're not just a bird.
Squawk!
He should have taken their eyes, all their eyes. And then it goes with, he quickly gained control over the hawk instincts. That was strange, he said. Oh, Tobias, you wordsmith.
Yeah, so they both have, stronger dreams, right?
Yeah. And then the other Animorphs felt something. That's the next bit. They didn't pass out, but they all felt something.
Right.
All of them, even Marco.
Yeah. So that gives... Because otherwise it would be a book about whether or not this is a dream, and they need to get moving.
Right.
Right. So,
Although I did like that they were not so sure. They have their moments of doubt.
If this was a book that had, say, a higher word count, they could have that story of, the doubt that comes with, hey, is this a dream?
Right.
I'm sure I shared it with Tobias, but he's a bird.
Right.
maybe something else.
And they touch on it a little bit. For 151 pages, they gotta really get moving.
Yep. Which I appreciate as an adult with a job.
Yeah, me too. It's like...
I want to get moving this story, too.
So far, we've talked about these books longer than it takes to read these books. So, hey, listener, sorry.
Yeah.
Hope you're reading these, and if you're not, hey, thanks.
It's a long commute.
Yeah, it's...
To wherever you're going. You better listen to 2 hours of some drunk idiots talking about a kid's book.
Hey, we're pretty smart.
And sober. I've only had this one drink.
We had margaritas with dinner.
Shut up.
Oh God, they're gonna know. Do you feel like you've morphed at all?
Like as a person?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Have you morphed?
Well, I mean, we've all kind of morphed if you consider aging morphing. I turned into...
Did you acquire an old guy?
Yes. I acquired someone slightly fatter and with less hair than me.
And you were him for more than 24 hours.
No good.
Or actually 2 hours. Sorry, that's the time.
2 hours, yeah.
Anyways, so they all talk about the dream.
Yeah,
and that's when like Tobias is the one that comes to the first realization that
it's a distress signal.
It's a distress signal, and it's coming from an Andalite.
Yeah,
right.
It feels like they talk about how it feels like something from how the Andalite made them feel.
Well, yeah, and it's the way that they communicate isn't words. It's not human words.
Right.
It is thought speak, and thought speak is, I guess, like has a different vibe to it.
Yeah,
like there's different means of communication for when they're animals, like telepathic waves or whatever. It just feels different, and that this dream felt like it.
It's called a mirror wave, as we find out later in the stupid fucking book.
I love mirror wave.
Popped out of Z space instead of mirror wave from under the ocean.
You know, like when I really need to study and concentrate, I just pop on that mirror wave album and really crank to it.
Yeah, I also like to crank. It's fine.
To mirror wave.
But Cassie and Tobias agree that it makes them think it's an Andalite. Like they feel like it's an Andalite.
I mean, what else would it be? It's a ship that crashed in the ocean. Of course, it'd be an Andalite. Anyways, so yeah, that's.
And then they have their little debate about it, where it's.
Well, they leave it up to Cassie, right?
They do.
Because she's the one that has the dream the strongest. They all kind of say, like, listen, we'll defer to whatever it is you'll say. Tobias, like, excludes himself from it.
He's like, if there's something in the ocean, I can't help.
Right.
Count me out.
He can, like, bring them to where they need to go and be supporting, but he can't actually, like, risk his life, so he's not going to vote.
This is, like, the first time Tobias will not be able to help.
Yeah. And he excludes himself from the decision, which is a nice thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Because like he doesn't have skin in the game, so to speak.
Right. He says, you know how I'd vote, but this isn't, I can't help with this. I would do nothing but die.
Yeah, which is why Tobias rules.
Tobias makes the best decisions. He's the smartest.
Yeah. So, anyways, they all kind of agree that they should do something. And Marco especially, like Marco kind of comes to the decision of... Well, here, I'm just going to read the thing.
Sure.
Marco just grinned. I really hate to do this. I really hate to disappoint you all. Then he grew serious. But I was there at the construction site, the same as you. I was there when Visser 3... Suddenly his voice choked. What I mean is, if there's an Andalite who needs anything, I'm there.
Yeah.
Right? So, like...
That's growth for Marco.
Right. Like, the best part is, like, he grew serious, because he's never really been serious.
No.
You know,
he has not.
Point. And then, like, you know, when he is serious, then there's, like, some heavy emotions that are coming bubbling up out of him.
Yeah.
And this is one of them where he wants to help an Andalite.
Which I think this is one of the first few times, one, his humor is penetrated and you realize that there is turmoil underneath his humor.
There's no deflection anymore. He has to, like, say stuff.
He's like, I have to do this. I felt it. Let's do this. And
yeah. So... Good on Marco.
Good on Marco.
All right, so chapter 5.
They talk about how there's probably going to be Yerks there. If the Animorphs felt it, then chances are the controllers are looking for it too. And so they decide, well, let's go down to the beach. Maybe they'll feel something if they get closer to it, which, you know what?
They've had worse plans.
Yeah, these kids are still dumb as fuck, but...
It is April. What would you do? Like, okay, you are in this situation. You are Jake, the leader.
Well, I'd do what Jake did and leave the decision to other people and just sit there and look at my strong arms. Think about doing stunts. It's like, oh man, if I turned into a tiger, I'd be able to wrestle Tom Cruise without hurting him, and it would be a real tiger fighting Tom Cruise. That's what I imagine Jake thinks like.
Yeah, I know, all the time. It is just like a monkey clanging a cymbal in that brain of his.
Brain. If a Yerk took it, they'd be like, oh, rejection. just crap right back out of its ear.
It would just like, it would get into his brain, just like slide off and come out the other end.
There's nothing there. It's just a bag of sand.
There's no traction. I can't grip on anything.
It's just completely smooth.
It's like a bowling lane up there.
It is the wettest, smoothest brain I've ever touched, and I cannot take it.
So that's why they come to the decision of just like, let's go to the beach and see what's up.
Yeah, let's go to the beach, see if we can find some Andalite ship. Maybe the message will be, or the dream, the feeling, the message, whatever will be stronger.
Not a half bad idea, honestly.
I mean, no, it's better than the let's turn into fish and slime up or slime our way up a spaceship's dick.
Yeah, it's better than that one.
Which was their brilliant plan last book.
Right. So, anyways, they go there, and of course, they run into fucking Yurk controllers.
Oh yeah, almost immediately.
Like almost immediately.
And we should mention that the group recognize that Tobias and Cassie only really feel the dream because they're, one, Tobias had the stronger connection with Prince Elfinger, and two, Cassie is the best, most proficient morpher. So they think it has to do with their ability to, one, morph, or their connection with the Andalites.
But Cassie herself doesn't actually buy that explanation, because she doesn't, she has a lot of self-doubt, and, generally, no self-esteem when it comes to her skills. She doesn't admit that she's the best morpher. She's like, I get that other people think that I am, but I'm not.
And I think that's her passivity just sticking.
Right, which is why she has doubts about any of the plans to go on through this book, is because she doesn't entirely trust that her dream was real. She doesn't, acknowledge that her feelings are real feelings.
She doesn't trust herself to be strong enough to, one, act on those feelings, or those feelings are actually real, which is really sad.
Right. So then they get shot at.
then the controllers show up, and one of them...
Tom and Chapman are there in the group of the sharing.
Do you remember Chapman's Yerk's name?
Oh, God, no.
Innis226.
Innis226.
Right up here. It's in my brain forever.
So Tom and Innis226...
one Yerk starts popping off like a fucking hothead. Blah, blah, blah.
It's see some kids on the beach and start shooting at them.
Controller's I think I see children. Blah, 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 blah.
And they're like, no, stop shooting at children.
But I mean, let's be honest, that Yerk was right.
100%. If that Yerk shot those 4 kids, this series would be over.
Yeah, it would have just ended. No more.
That Yerk was a hero.
That the one hero Yerk was stopped because of bureaucracy.
Innis226 fucked it up again. Anyways, so apparently, Cassie was legitimately dodging shots.
Yeah.
I dodged left, out of the light, just in time, blam, blam, gunfire.
You know what I really liked about that sequence most of all?
What?
That moment of introspection where Cassie's like, this is kind of funny. I've been shot at by lasers. It's kind of funny just being shot at by human guns.
I would be more afraid of being shot at by an actual dumb human gun than a laser, if I'm being honest.
And it's... So we should also talk about, before they get sprayed by the Yerks...
Okay.
Cassie sort of sums up who these characters are. I mean, with the exception of Jake, she's just like, he cute, me crush.
Yeah.
Have crush, not me crush Jake.
Maybe later when they're adults. So.
But she says this about... So they get to the beach, and Marco's like, let's get the fuck out of here. I don't like this. It's nighttime. So Cassie says, Marco's cooperative mood hadn't lasted long. I knew it wouldn't. Marco is never happy unless he's complaining about something. Just like Rachel is never happy unless she has something to fight against. And Tobias is never happy, period. He thinks if he's ever happy, someone will just come along and take his happiness away. Cassie understands her friends.
Yeah, she's the most empathic one.
On a deep level. And I think that's part of why she struggles to make a decision, because she knows that if anything bad happens, and she vocalizes this to Jake, she knows if anything bad happens, it's because of what she decided. And her biggest fear, I think, is hurting anything. Human, animal, whatever.
Right. Well, she'll eat that pain, right? She's like, if anything happens to Marco... She'll think, I did this.
Yeah, this is my fault because of me.
I killed Marco. Or any wrong decision that has a painful effect on one of her friends, she will feel immediately. And I'm sure it's the same for animals, too. She gets hung up about animals dying. No, it's sad when animals die. But, she feels animals' pain, which is why she's just so good at morphing. Right?
Which is why she also...
She's an empath.
Yeah, she's an empath.
Right.
Which is... I think a good character to have.
It's a good character to have, but it also acknowledges that there are problems with being too empathic. That you
in war, yeah.
Well, not just in war, but in life too. You start to It's not just acknowledge that what you're doing is painful. You get frozen from indecision making.
It stuns you into inaction, which is
worse, right?
Yeah,
like it's worse to like not make a decision.
You basically take yourself out of the world,
right?
And
the pain and the pressure become so overwhelming that you just stop.
Yeah,
and
which is why she stops and thinks, "Man, it's fun to get shot at by bullets."
She didn't say it was fun.
No, but she said it felt weird and surreal. And so they hear the controllers talking.
Yes.
And they hear that Visser 3, badass extraordinaire, evil and loving it, leader of the leader of the Yeerks, had a vision too, and it's pissed him off. It's pissed him off so much, he just threw a Hork-Bajir out of a spaceship. Because it's like, I had a bad dream. I'm going to throw my friend Carl out of this spaceship.
He has no friends. What are you talking about?
Well, you know.
He has subordinates.
He's got underlings.
He has underlings that maybe he wants to kill less.
And once they hear that is when the blah, blah, blah starts happening.
Right.
And so they're running away through the dunes. Another wonderful chase scene in a book because they're so interesting.
Yeah, they dive behind a dune, and then they're like, we need to get out of here. We can't turn into birds because that'll be obvious.
Yeah, the footprints will just disappear.
Right. We need to get in the ocean, and the only thing we have are trout.
Yeah.
And trout don't live in the ocean. They're freshwater fish.
Yeah, which I thought was a great detail.
Yeah.
They talk about how they turn into trout, head into the ocean, and how everything hurts.
Yeah, I was thinking they would die immediately. I'm like,
me too.
I was thinking like they would just like immediately change out, but no, they just like it would hurt a lot, but like you can just live grin and bear. I'm sure like if you threw a trout in the ocean, it would like live for at least a couple minutes.
Yeah, and so they're swimming while being in constant pain, which I mean is a great message for life.
Yeah,
which is always in pain.
And then like like they catch up to the genes and like okay, we knew that something was up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They don't know that the Morpher is a human though yet.
No, they haven't figured that out.
Which I feel like at this point,
one of the Yeerks is like, maybe they're not Andalites, maybe they're not humans, and Chapman / NS226 is like, yeah, you could be right, but you're the one who's got to tell Visser 3 he's wrong. Let's see how that works out for you, eh, guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's not. I wouldn't want to bring Visser 3 any news.
No, just be like, we didn't find anything.
Yeah,
because nothing's better than something bad.
Yeah, like any bad workplace, you just cover your butt and just keep on moving. Just be like under that radar.
It's like, oh no, we went out there, we didn't find anything. Not even any signs of Andalites. Nope.
Even though like at this point, it's pretty obvious that they're human. Like they wouldn't. If they were Andalite, they would not be wearing jeans. They wouldn't be like changing.
And I mean, to her credit, the author states, well, they could just be kids playing around. Who knows? We don't know.
Sure.
They don't immediately leap to, it was the Andalites, which I think is slightly better writing.
Yeah.
Slightly better.
Anyways, they escape.
And then they spend the next couple days just doing kid stuff.
Yeah.
Jake fails a test because he's dumb.
Right.
And he's got to do makeup work.
Rachel's busy with her gymnastics, and I guess her mom is winning Lawyer of the Year.
Yeah. Mom is Lawyer of the Year. I wonder how the dad weatherman's doing.
I don't know. He's probably like drinking somewhere.
Jake comes over to Cassie's house.
Right.
And
when Cassie's like knee deep in pig shit.
Actual poop, yes. Just real actual poop. And Cassie thinks, I think this is a great little detail, like of sort of preteen insecurity of like, oh, of course he'd come over when I don't look good. It's like, yeah, I like him and I want to look good, but I don't want to see this person I'm interested in have them see me covered in actual shit.
Yeah. And she bemoans that, like, just once I want, like... Because Jake, I guess, has a picture of Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which
Cassie, not Rachel.
So, I always confuse it because I always, like, kissing cousins. That's what I think these two are doing. I know. It's a bad vibe.
We don't have bad vibes here.
Yeah,
get them out of here.
Get
bad vibes. We don't want you, kind here.
But yeah, no, like, Jake has a picture of Cassie, I guess, of, like, her in, like, overalls and work boots and stuff like that. Which I think is actually, to Jake's credit, I think that's a nice little thing. It's like the person you like, you want to see them in their natural state, what they're actually doing, not, like, in a dress at prom.
And Jake even says, I like it like that. I like you in those overalls, whatever.
Right, but, like, she can't acknowledge that. She wants to be more like Rachel, more like, wearing a dress and just kind of,
She thinks that's what Jake wants.
Yeah.
Which I think her affection for Jake kind of clouds her natural understanding of Jake. Jake he'll accept you, Jake will accept you for whatever you are because he's too dumb to have needs other than food, water, and be strong.
That is Jake's only charm, I think, is that, like, he's such a country bumpkin that he doesn't, like, get hung up on, like, oh, you need to present yourself in such a way.
No, he's just... I don't even know. So Cassie's like, what up, dude? You come over here to help me shovel some shit? And he's like, huh, yeah, I guess. And they just shovel poop for a while. This chapter's two characters who like each other, but are too uncomfortable to admit it, shoveling poop.
Yeah. And I like that. I like this chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, it takes a break. Let's do some character building. Let's talk about the relationship a little bit.
Yeah. And I've had similar things where I hang out with someone that I'm kind of into, and they're kind of into me, and we're just kind of doing something just to spend time with each other.
Yeah. It's nice. It's honest.
It's honest, yeah.
Right. So, like, they talk about... I guess they had Thanksgiving together? They cut forward, they talk about the Andalite stuff, and, like, they talk about... Because Cassie's hesitant to go out there again because they got shot at.
Right.
And she just doesn't want to make this choice. She wants Jake to make the choice. And Jake says, I can't. I didn't have the dream that you had. Only you can really, like, know whether or not this is worth risking our lives over.
And Cassie's got apprehension, a lot of it. One, because her friends could get hurt, and also, she doesn't understand the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, she says, I sighed and looked around at the barn. It smelled pretty bad, and sometimes it was a nut house of yammering birds and howling wolves and whinnying horses, all needing care, and all scared of the care we gave them. But it was the place I felt most at home in the whole world. Out through the door of the barn, the fields of corn and open meadow stretched off into the distance, till they pressed up against the dark trees of the forest. I know this is crazy, I said, but the ocean scares me a little. I understand the land. I understand soil and things that grow out of it. I laughed. I guess I'm just an old farm girl. You know, this farm was in my family since the Civil War.
Yeah, and it's a good point to bring up because, like, the ocean is alien and weird.
Yeah, it's alien and weird. They have no experience with it.
When I think of the ocean, I think, like, if I'm afraid of anything nature-wise, it's something in the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, it's so different and alien than
there's
what I know as a land dweller.
It's deep, it's dark, there's unknown monsters in it.
Right, a kraken could come up at any point and just, like, grab them and then eat them.
Do you remember when those videos were circulating of the giant squids grabbing cameras?
Yeah, and every so often just, like, a random blob will wash up on a beach where it's like, we don't know what that is.
Yeah,
It's terrifying.
I get the apprehension. And Jake laying this at Cassie's door saying, you have to make this decision. That's the biggest fear for Cassie because she doesn't make decisions. And she even says, what if you just made this decision for me? And he goes, I could do that. Mm-hmm. I could take all this blame. But Cassie, to her credit, says, no, I have to make this decision.
Right.
And I think that's a really strong character choice.
Yeah,
even for both of them. Jake being a simple, like, smooth brain idiot. I think this is his first good decision of, if you say this is real, we're doing it. Mm-hmm. Which, fine.
And he leaves with this. Cassie, he said, I'd rather shovel manure with you than do homework without you any day. I think of that as a compliment, sort of. He rode off, leaving me much less at ease than I had before he came. So... Yeah, he just came over, dropped a bomb, left.
Yeah, which was, I think, the first sign, I guess, of good leadership.
It's the only time he's demonstrated it.
That's true. And even then, it was demonstrating leadership by saying, I can't make this decision, please make it. Which, I guess.
Delegation.
And then, so the next...
So they go to acquire sea mammals.
Yeah.
Because they need something that is not a trout.
Yeah, if we're going to the ocean, we need sea bugs or... So they go to the gardens, and I like this next bit of humanizing of Marco in the first opening of this chapter where they go to the gardens. It goes like this. I have a pass to get in anytime I want, but the others all have to pay, which is kind of a drag because Marco never has any money. Ever since Marco's mom died, his dad has been kind of messed up. He just takes temporary jobs, and they're always broke. I guess I think it's kind of romantic the way Marco's dad has never gotten over his wife dying.
That sucks. That's a shitty take.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's like I had to learn when I started helping my dad with the animals. Sometimes death just happens, and all you can do is get over it. The best you can.
Yeah.
It's tough for Marco because he feels like he has to take care of his dad instead of having his dad take care of him. On the bus, I glanced over at Marco. He was looking out the window, being kind of quiet. Hey, Marco, I said. What? Is that a new haircut? It looks good. Yeah? He looked surprised. He ran his fingers through his long brown hair and kind of smiled.
So
that's her understanding.
It's a bad understanding of Marco.
It's a bad understanding of Marco. I think it's 2/3 good understanding, 1/3 bad understanding.
It's a bad... Okay, hold on. It's a bad understanding of what death is.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between a death of an animal and that you've taken care of. Like,
Right.
It's 100% sad, and you should mourn an animal's death. But having, say, your mom die is different.
Yeah, and I think it's Cassie's, to her mature credit, that she looks at Marco and sees someone who's obviously not getting the recognition or the love or care that a parent should give, and instead is having to be the caregiver.
Sure.
And so she gives Marco just the tiniest sliver of, hey, I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And he just eats it up. He's like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. He doesn't get a lot of compliments.
No, and I think that's Cassie understanding who Marco is and what Marco needs.
Yeah.
And being a really good friend. While she's got a warped perspective on what death is.
But let's say it's like Pollyannish. Like, I think that she just has not had those gritty hard truths that have, say, hit Marco.
It's absolutely different when a parent dies than when a pet dies.
Right.
Says someone who has both of his parents still alive.
Right.
But they might as well be dead to me.
Yeah, and, well, the thing that also kind of like, hey, shitty call out is that when they were buying the tickets, right? Mm-hmm. Is that like, oh, yeah, it's kind of a drag that Marco's poor.
Yeah, she does.
It kind of sucks that we have to feel the guilt of this poor friend. Like,
yeah,
that kind of sucks.
And it's
but like, whatever. I'm sure we'll get to that with. I'm excited for Marco's book.
Marco's book is pretty good.
This is a good primer for let's learn about Marco.
Yeah.
Anyways, they get in. They go to the dolphin tank.
They go to the dolphin tanks.
Have a wet and wild adventure with the dolphins, and Marco gets splashed, and geez, got him.
Yeah. And it's like there's some nice also.
Marco.
I would say team building where Rachel and Marco are giving each other shit, and it's in a way that doesn't feel forced, and it's actually kind of funny.
It reinforces the gang, because I feel like, there hasn't been a lot of, like, we're just having a good time as a gang episode.
And that's part of what makes these books good, is that there's this team dynamic and these characters who like being around each other, and they're all different.
Started out as friends, except for Tobias.
Yeah, it's like, we carry this little shit around because I saved him. He owes me. So here's our group, giving each other shit at the gardens.
Yeah.
And Cassie's like, let's go back. Let's go to the dolphin tank. We're going to do this as dolphins. I can get us in there. Let's go meet the dolphins. We should turn into dolphins. And so they meet the dolphins. The dolphins who happen to be named. Do you want to name them or should I?
Well, as you know, we have 6 dolphins here. Joey, whom you met. Ross, Monica, Chandler, Phoebe, and Rachel.
That's right. They're named after the friends. So, I think now, since we're getting to the morph of the book, tell us about dolphins.
I have a whole book report ready for you about dolphins. Dolphin facts. Fun fact, they kill for fun.
You're starting with that? Your first dolphin fact is they kill for fun?
Yeah, they kill for fun. Like, sometimes they'll kill a fish, and if they're not hungry, they'll just like play around with it and then leave. Fuck off, and somebody else will eat the fish.
Holy shit.
The average dolphin eats up to 33 pounds of fish a day.
You are coming in hot with dolphin facts. I love this.
All right, here's my favorite. Like, okay, so we've decided that this is the chill vibes episode of the podcast.
Here's the chill vibes.
Here's the chill vibes. Dolphins, they love to get high off of pufferfish.
Ooh, go on.
Sometimes they swim up to like pufferfish, just like grab a little bit of them, like, get that venom, and then spit them out at another dolphin, and the dolphin will get high on that. They'll like pass this pufferfish to the left hand side and just get like high as a kite.
Passing?
Yep. That's exactly what they're doing.
Oh my god, dolphins are the best.
Yeah, well. Here's the thing. I wasn't gonna bring this up. I'm gonna like mention it briefly and move on.
Okay.
They're horny as fuck.
Okay.
They're horny and violent, and just look that up on the internet.
We don't condone any horny violence here.
Right.
However, let's talk about the ways in which we are like dolphins.
Okay.
I'll go first. I'm horny a lot.
Okay, great.
I love to get my brain altered with substances.
Excellent. Cheers to that.
I don't kill for fun, so that's not for me. Some people, yeah, troops, whatnot.
Okay.
You can miss me with killing for fun.
Do you eat through your mouth?
Yes.
Do you breathe through your blowhole?
Yes.
Because, like, well, that's the thing, is that, like, they have to have, like, two separate holes to do different things, because otherwise they would drown.
I have two separate holes. I can breathe through my mouth, but I can also breathe through my nose.
Well, you hear those stories about those drunk idiots, probably in Florida, of just,
I'm
like...
sorry, they ruin the country.
Yeah, good point.
Every election cycle, they ruin the country.
All right, go to hell, Florida.
Fuck you, Florida.
Here's what you do to dolphins. It's like some drunk idiot will just like, hey, look at me, I'm going to plug this dolphin's hole. Like, it just strangles them. They die. Because that's how they breathe.
People do that?
Yeah, people do that. They're assholes, but they do it.
Another way I'm like a dolphin. Rubbery skin.
Ooh, do you know that their skin regenerates every 2 hours?
No.
Yeah, it has to, because it has to be, like, super smooth. The reason why they have the rubber skin
Like
is...
Jake's brain.
Yeah, they have to be smooth like Jake's brain. The way that they have that, they need that rubbery skin for drag, right? If it's too, like, crusty or whatever, they won't get that speed. That's why it regenerates every 2 hours.
Okay.
And that's probably why it's rubbery, too. Because it just keeps on...
Because they're slipping and sliding through the ocean.
Right, there you go. Here's a fun fact. Dolphins never sleep. They never, like, go to bed for 8 hours or whatever. Like,
they mention that in the book, don't they?
They take power naps.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? They sleep for, like, 15 to 20
yeah.
minutes, and then they go back up for air because they can't breathe water. They don't get oxygen from the water. They need to get, like, air. So you can't just sleep underwater. You would suffocate.
Fuck, I didn't...
So they, like, go down, they sleep for, like, 20 minutes, and then they're like, good nap, and then go up and get, like, some more air.
Good nap. My brain feels funny from not having oxygen. Oh, hypoxia, no.
Yeah. They also, like, the book is big about, like, dolphins being intelligent. Mm-hmm. Right? So, about that... I
mean, they kill for fun. They have to be intelligent.
Right, yeah. That's one way. They're intelligent. They have fun. Like, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Right? They also pass the mirror test.
Go on.
So, the mirror test is, if you put a mirror in front of, like, a dog, say the dog Bo that just came in here and barked,
which we edited out. You're welcome. Yeah, this is edited.
That's right.
Heavily.
If we put a mirror in front of Bo, the Yorkshire Terrier, he would just bark at his own image like an idiot.
As you do.
Because he doesn't think that it's him. He thinks it's another dog. A dolphin, if a dolphin sees a mirror, it doesn't think, oh, look, another dolphin. It looks like, oh, look, it's me. Isn't that strange? Right? Also, dolphins have their own dolphin name. So dolphins communicate through, like, whistles and clicks.
Yeah, echolocation. Yeah, believe me.
Not just echolocation, because echolocation is like how they see.
I know this because I had an Echo the Dolphin toy that you could hit a button and it would go.
Very nice.
No, it was.
But they, like, whistle and click, and that's kind of like their language. Scientists have not been able to translate it for various reasons.
Because how could we?
Yeah, and why would we? Right? So anyways, dolphins have their own unique names.
Oh, I bet they're all really racist. That's why.
Right. Well, and, like, Cassie wants to know the dolphin's name. Like,
right.
You know, that kind of stuff is important because it's like, oh, you have an identity and a conscience?
Yeah, she recognizes that they're intelligent enough to kind of know what's happening.
Right. So...
Which, that whole ethical discussion of, are we just yerks in different clothes kind of comes up, which is...
I like it.
I like it, too.
One other thing is... well, here's how they see an echolocation. I'll put this image on the show notes.
Okay.
But...
okay, so they get the basic vague shapes. Like, you can see a human shape there, correct?
Yeah, you can see, like, an arms and a leg and a head.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't, like, get, like, distinct features.
Yeah, you won't. They're not like crows. They won't recognize you. I mean, maybe they might if you have distinct enough shapes.
Yeah, it's not like they'll recognize your face, though.
No.
Because they can't really see your face. Nor can they smell, by the way. They have no sense of smell.
Thank God, the ocean stinks like dead fish.
Right. So, last fact, I guess I'll say, is the U.S. Navy has done a lot of experimentation with trained dolphins. Oh. Especially for running into sea mines.
Like they run... Wait, you mean like the old Batman movie?
That's how they get rid of old sea mines. It's just they train dolphins just to barrel into sea mines and then explode.
Oh, I made fun of that movie so
That was a thing. Because, like, think about it. If you can train a dolphin to go run to a mine, that's way cheaper than, say, losing a sub.
Yeah. Or even shooting munitions at it.
Right.
You just send a dolphin into it.
You just send a dolphin to kamikaze itself right into a mine and just explode.
Oh, I'm picturing the dolphin where it's like, oh, I can't wait to play with this new toy they trained me about. Whee!
Well, because they have, like, fake rubber ones, I'm sure, to train to, like, hit dolphins. Like, hey, if you hit this, you get a fish.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, cancel the military.
Yeah, cancel humanity.
Close the whole thing.
Okay, I'll end it on a nice note. There are 44 different species of dolphins.
No, that's why they're all racist.
Yeah.
And with that, we end dolphin facts. So...
They acquire dolphins.
They acquire dolphins.
Well, yeah, like, Cassie's hesitant about acquiring dolphins because...
Yeah, she recognized the humanity and intelligence of dolphins.
Right, like, she has moral qualms about acquiring something intelligent, which bothers me. And here's why, is that Rachel has an elephant. Elephants have the same goddamn intelligence as a dolphin. Well, yeah. I mean, like, different, but, like, the same ideas. They have the same, like, social structure. They're smart. By the way, we should recently say we recently saw and, like, touched an elephant.
Yeah, we played with some elephants recently.
Yeah, we went to Thailand, went to elephant sanctuary.
We got kissed. We went for a friend's wedding. We're not sex perverts.
Nope, no sex tourism here. We went here for elephants. To get kisses from elephants.
We did get kisses from elephants. We got kissed from an elephant named Naughty Boy.
Did you talk about Naughty Boy like that?
Naughty Boy is great. Either way, so I think this chapter ends really well. So they're talking about...
Well, it ends with her, like, acquiring the dolphin by asking, may I?
Yeah, it ends like this. She grinned up at me, fixing me with one eye as she cocked her head to see me. I pushed away my doubts, closed my eyes, and concentrated on the dolphin. She became peaceful and calm, as animals always do during the acquiring process. May I asked her silently. But of course, she couldn't answer. So it's really important that Cassie
asks for permission with animals.
Yeah, she communes with the animal because
right.
she doesn't want to take the agency away from animals, which I think
acknowledges that, like, there's a big thing with, like, fishers. Like, I heard this when I went fishing the one time as a kid, which is like, oh, don't worry, fish don't feel pain. Of course they feel pain. Yeah, all animals feel pain.
Everything feels pain.
Right,
David Foster Wallace wrote about it with lobsters. Everything feels pain.
Right, and Cassie acknowledges that animals have some form of conscience. Like, you know. And so, like, I'm gonna take your DNA and clone you now. May I do this? And I think, like, that makes her the kindest, person here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The rest don't care. They just take whatever they want.
So they acquire the dolphins. Mm-hmm. It jumps ahead to that night. And Cassie has the dream again.
Right.
But there's only a problem. The dream's getting weaker. Mm. She says it's like a radio signal that's losing battery. So there's a time crunch on this. She dreams the dream of the dolphin, or dreams the dream of the Andalite that's getting weaker.
Yeah.
And then she dreams of the dolphin in her tank, the one called Monica. Although who knew if she had a true name of her own? How long had she been in that tank? How long since she had been free in the open sea? Cassie's dreaming... And I guess guilty because something smart and beautiful.
Dreams are important in Animorphs. Like, because Rachel has a dream about, like, eating maggots as a shrew, right? Like, it's forms of trauma cropping up. And Cassie's trauma is, I took advantage of a dolphin.
Yeah.
Anyways, they make plans to meet up at the river.
Yeah, they can't go to the beach because they recognize people could just see them morph.
Right.
So they decide to go to upriver and swim as dolphins out to sea, which I think that was Marco's suggestion.
Good idea.
Again, he's saving their ass.
Right.
And they morph into dolphins.
They made up with Tobias, who has a cool watch now.
They give him a cool watch.
So, like, there's this hawk flying around with a Rolex.
This badass red-tailed hawk flying around with a fucking Timex. Does it say Timex in yours, or did it do a different reference?
No, I think it did Timex. So, like, yeah, I just like the idea of a falcon with a watch.
I love this little bit. I looked closer and saw a very small digital timer strapped to one of his legs. Rachel put it on for me, he explained. I'll be over the water the whole time, so I figured it was fairly safe. No bird watchers around to see me and wonder, when did red tails start wearing Timexes? Which, honestly, Timex on one, laser in the other. Tobias is the best.
Agreed.
He's just wonderful.
All right, so everyone pushes Cassie to go first because she's the best.
The best morpher, and also this is, her fucking books.
Yeah.
Why not go first?
And then, 2 pages of Cronenberg nightmares.
It's like, I had that pleasing sensation of my nose growing 2 feet, but I wanted to keep my legs, so I turned into a rubber sausage with a long dolphin nose with human legs.
Then my spine cracked into a Durslefin. And then my legs fused together.
I felt the odd crunching sound you get sometimes when bones are stretched or compressed. And right before my eyes, literally, my face bulged out and out and out still farther. Oh man, that's definitely not attractive, Marco groaned from the shore. Not a good look for you, Cassie. Morphing isn't usually very pretty. In fact, it's kind of a thing that, if you didn't know it was going to be alright, would freak you out. I've watched while Rachel does her elephant morph, and I can tell you it's the creepiest, scariest, most disgusting thing you'll ever want to see. Let alone watching people go from human to fish. Truly gross. So she's just morphing, and she gets into dolphin form, and she realizes, oh shit, this is fun.
Right. Well, their biggest worry isn't that, the dolphin brain's going to take over, but, they have the brain of, a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old, right? Of, this is going to be intelligent, how is this going to affect me? And it doesn't affect her, directly. It's not like the squirrel, which immediately took over, and just all instinct. Instead, this was, it kind of snuck in and kind of invaded her human brain, almost. It's I kind of want to just, have fun now. I kind of just want to play and have fun and fuck y'all, I'm going to the ocean.
Yeah, which she does, and she's like, let's go, come on guys, let's go. I didn't like the river, I wanted the ocean. I could feel it close by. I could feel it in the way the current rushed me forward. I could feel it in some deep hidden part of my dolphin being, which I think is the first sort of hint that there's some deeper soul or element coming into play for Cassie and the whales.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to the whales.
We'll get to the whales.
But, I just like that, there's not, it's not immediate, I need to wrestle control from this dolphin, because, it's all panic and fear and impulse. Instead, it is just, that thought in the back of her head is, we should go play. We should go. We should go and have fun.
We need to go home. We should go to the ocean. We need to play. We need to kill for fun. I'm horny.
Anyone got some puff? Anyone got puff?
Anyone got any puff?
Hey man, is there puff at this party?
Popping up at the beach looking to buy an ounce of puff.
Right, and that's the dolphin man that sneaks in. It's not it's not obvious.
Hey man, you got any fugu?
Yeah, and
hey man, I got fugu. What do you want? You want an ounce?
So they just they all turn into dolphins, and they all let that fucking dolphin brain take over.
Yeah,
right. And they they all zip down into the ocean, and
even Tobias is like, man, you guys are acting like fucking idiots.
Yeah, well, so this chapter kind of waxes poetic into talking about the ocean, and but Tobias is just flying up above, hey guys, it's been an hour. Yeah, you've been playing for an hour.
We flew side by side, exhaling and refilling our lungs with warm air. Life was joy. Life was a game. I wanted to dance. I wanted to dance through the sea. So I did. There was nothing I could not do. There was nothing I could ask my body that it would not give me. Racing, spinning, turning, diving, skimming the surface, flying up into the sky. I wasn't just in the sea. I was the sea. Yes. And that's when Tobias is like, hey, fuckheads. Are you just going to be children all day? Or are we going to go save us a fucking alien? And he's like, you realize you've wasted 45 minutes already? Minutes? I laughed. Who cared about minutes?
Yeah, and it doesn't even, snap them out of it. They have to, force themselves into thinking, oh, it'll be a game. Hey, let's play the game of find the spaceship.
Yeah, let's find the spaceship. Whoever gets first is King Dolphin. Whoever finds his spaceship first gets to do murder for fun.
Yeah. They have a scholastic book fair moment of talking about echolocation.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Honestly, if I hadn't played Echo the Dolphin, I wouldn't have known what echolocation was.
Yeah.
When I was reading this, I was like, yeah, I know what the clicks are. Yeah. You're going to find the evil spaceship.
But yeah, so they sneak in a little bit of education here about dolphins. Then a picture popped into my consciousness. I know, I cried, as if I just won a contest. It's a shark! Suddenly we weren't playing anymore. Because they encountered this scene, right?
Yeah.
Of sharks swarming around this poor innocent whale.
This huge-ass 40-foot whale.
The thing I regret not looking up is, do sharks fight whales?
See, when I was reading this, I thought, Sharks don't just do this.
No, they don't just, like, go after whales.
Sharks do not just attack whales.
Should we, like, look it up real quick?
No. Let's have someone correct us.
Someone correct. I don't think they do. I think this is bullshit.
I don't think sharks just swarm a whale.
No, because like whales are like, what would they bite? Like, if you look at like a whale skin, it's all this blubber. Like, there's no way a shark could tear off a chunk.
Maybe in some circumstances, sharks could attack like a wounded whale. This wasn't a wounded whale.
Well, they talk about like going after the soft parts of the mouth.
Yeah, which I also, when I'm looking at potential mates or food, I look at the soft part of their mouth.
Yo, girl, you got that soft part of the mouth I just love.
Damn, girl, you got the soft part of your mouth there. Mind if I bite it with 4 of my friends?
Oh. Right, so they have to decide: am I like are we gonna fight this shark? To
they realize that they're fighting the instinct of the dolphin. They say dolphins don't attack sharks unless the sharks attacks first.
Right, but like Cassie, feels sorry for the whale, and she brings up the question: should we fight these whales? Rachel immediately, without question, goes after a shark.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna fuck a shark up, and Cassie says, the sharks are attacking a great one. And Tobias is like, what the fuck? What the fuck's a great one? Huh? And she goes, I was confused. What did I mean? The words great one had just popped into my mind. I mean, there's a whale being attacked by sharks. So that's what she says to Tobias. Mm-hmm. She feels it in her dolphin soul as a great one.
Yeah, and this is where things get a little bit weird with whales.
Yeah.
There's a little hint of things to come about what is a great one, and what are the little ones, and what are we even talking about anymore? Yeah. Anyways, they fight off these damn sharks. Cassie gets a great shot into a shark.
Oh, yeah, she fucking chonks this bitch right in his gill, and he starts bleeding.
Well, yeah, that's how dolphins fight. They go at top speed and just like run nose first into whatever it is they want to kill.
Cassie looked at this thing like it was a fucking undetonated mine and just went for it.
Right. Ugh. Hits it right in the gills. The shark kind of like feels it, starts bleeding, and swims away.
Because, I mean, someone comes at my gills. What part of human is gills?
Probably.
Wait, I'm the nurse. Let me answer that. Yeah. Asshole.
Anyways, so they scare off the sharks. They fight off the sharks.
Well, kind of.
Well, they're unscathed. Not a single person gets hurt.
They're unscathed.
Except for Marco.
Is that this?
Yeah.
This early?
Yep.
Oh, it is.
Right. So, anyways, here's what happened. So, like, Cassie hurts that shark. Yeah. The shark starts to bleed and swim away. All the other sharks follow the trail of blood to the injured shark and tear it to pieces.
This is...
Nice callback to the or the taxons.
The taxons, yeah. And also foreshadowing for a book coming up.
Ooh.
Because in a book coming up, they turn into sharks.
Ooh, nice.
It's fine. There's a lot of shit coming up.
Anyways, the school of shark? The murder of shark.
Yeah, the murder of shark. Take off,
and then eat their friend. And everyone's like, "Hey, is everyone cool? We're good." Marco says, "I think I'm hurt," and then they see
let me just read it to you.
Yeah, read it.
Everyone okay? Jake asked. I have some cuts, but I'm okay, I said. Same here, Rachel said. She sounded tired. I guess I did too. I felt exhausted and drained. The fight had probably only lasted 2 minutes from beginning to end, but it had been 2 long minutes. Marco? I think I'm hurt, he said. I looked for him. He was drifting in the water, almost motionless, 20 yards away. We all swam over, crowding around him. Then I saw the wound. I think I would have screamed if I could have. His tail had almost been bitten off. It was hanging by a few jagged threads. It was useless. We were miles out in the ocean, and Marco could not hope to swim back. So,
I only have a dolphin mouth, and I'm a scream.
Let me say, so this image, like this series of books, there are a couple images that I read as a child that have always stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And one of them is Marco's dolphin tail hanging on by a few threads has always stuck with me.
Yeah, I can see that.
This visceral image of a decapitated dolphin with the soul or mind of a child in it.
Right. And like Cassie not being able to scream.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Right, so they don't know what to do.
And then
it's a bunch of teenagers freaking out that their friend got hurt.
Yeah, that their friend was just bitten to pieces by a fucking shark.
Right, so Cassie has the idea to morph back to human.
Yeah.
And this answers one of my questions that I had at the very beginning of this whole thing. Is like, what happens if you get hurt as an animal?
Yeah, go back to listen to episode 1. I think Nate says that. I don't know.
Right. Cassie says, like, hey, Morph, listen. If acquiring only takes the DNA of the animal that you're acquiring, that means that, like, when you change back, you should be the same because DNA doesn't get hurt like that. That's not how that works. Yeah, I'd buy that, I guess. Yeah. Well, and, like, he doesn't want to because he can't swim. Right. That's the thing about Marco. He's the only one that can't, like, swim really well.
He can't swim, which comes back later in a really hilarious way.
Right. So it's either you turn into a human and drown, or you just bleed out as a dolphin.
Yeah.
So he turns into a human, almost drowns, right? But Cassie comes up to try to save him, but before she can actually, like, go in and save Marco, another majestic, large creature comes by.
Here's something that happened. I don't know if this was weird for you. Then Marco began to change. Arms sprouted from his flippers, his face flattened down with his wide grinning dolphin mouth, shortening to form Marco's own lips. His skin turned pink. Mm-hmm. So they formed a circle around him. He turns back into human. His shattered, injured tail split in two. Legs formed from the halves. Toes appeared. Human toes at the end of human legs. He did it. Yeah, I did it. And now I'm drowning. So he's changing back into human.
Right. He says those words somehow. Whatever. Like, correction to Applegate. Hey. Fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Let me read for Cassie.
Okay.
Then I noticed something strange. It was like the ocean floor was rising to meet me. No, it was the humpback. He had dived beneath us and was slowly rising, slowly to the surface. Look out, the whale, Rachel yelled. But at that moment, the most incredible part of an incredible day happened. My mind, human, dolphin, both minds opened up like a flower opening to the sun.
This is some 70s flower power style writing that kids don't think this way.
No. And a silent but somehow huge voice filled my head. It spoke no words. It simply filled every corner of my mind with a simple emotion. Gratitude.
I hate it. I fucking hate it.
The whale was telling me that it was grateful. We had saved it. Now it would save our schoolmate.
I hate it and I love it. This is like where it turns from like space war
so this
to whatever like 70s acid dream Catherine Alice Applegate had.
But we can't really say that this was unexpected because
I definitely did not expect this.
Well, no. Here's why I'm saying that. Because the Andalites communicate with telepathic emotion.
Okay.
So I think Kathy Apple is making the leap and saying that maybe there are certain beings on our planet that we don't understand that communicate in a similar way. I guess...
Yeah.
That's just me trying my best to make sense of hippy-dippy acid writing?
No, but that's what this is. You're right. I think that there's a way to approach this that does not sound this way.
I want a shirt with just a whale on it.
That says gratitude.
Whale's body, it says gratitude.
Gratitude. Like, a whale wouldn't think gratitude. A whale would think, krill? Bye. like if animals think that way, they don't, like... Anyways, like...
Right. Yeah, the whale brings them up to the surface.
Like, okay, here's the thing. I will suspend my disbelief, and I will buy that a whale is grateful that it was saved from some sharks.
And, I mean...
And, like, in order to pay that, we're going to take this weird-looking dolphin on my back, because it needs air.
And it... I guess it recognizes within Cassie that there's an empath or something in there, because the whale starts to talk to her. It says, "Listen, little one," he commanded in a silent voice that seemed to fill the universe. I listened. I listened to his wordless voice in my head. I felt like it went on forever. Tobias said later it was only 10 minutes. But during that 10 minutes, I was lost to the world. I was being shown a small part of the whale's thoughts. He had lived 80 migrations. He had many mates, many mothers who died in their turn. His children traveled the oceans of the world.
Are you the one of the many mothers? Yes, said I.
He had survived many battles, traveled to the far southern ice and the far northern ice. He remembered the days when men hunted his kind from ships that belched smoke. He remembered the songs of the many fathers who had gone before, as others would remember his song. But in all he had seen and all he had known, he had never seen one of these little ones become a human. Marco, I realized. He means Marco. And little ones? Is that what the whales call dolphins? We are not truly little ones. No. You are something new in the sea. But not the only new thing.
Like, so...
She's talking to the whale!
Yeah, this is a conversation between Cassie and the whale.
I wasn't sure what he was telling me. He spoke only in feelings, in a sort of poetry of emotion, without words. Part of it was in a song. Part of it I could only sense the same way I could sense an echolocation. Something new? He showed me a picture, a memory. It was a broad, grassy plain with trees and a small stream, all of it underwater. And across the grass ran an animal that was part deer, part scorpion, part almost human. Bitch, we got us an andalite.
Yeah, and the whale just, like, tells them where the andalite is. And they were taking too much of that puffer fish. They need to cut back on that puff.
Yeah,
they've been hitting that puff pretty hard, and now, like,
too much.
They're getting advice from the majestic whale, who has seen many battles and are from the many mothers and the many fathers.
Hey, you want to get fucked up on pufferfish and try to talk to a whale?
Listen, as the only person in this room that has eaten pufferfish, yes. It's like eating ambisol.
Let's get numb mouths and talk to whales. Many mothers.
Peanut butter mouth.
Damn, bitch, I've known many mothers, but you looking fine, little one.
Hello, little one. We are from the many mothers and the many fathers.
I have known 80 migrations and many battles. Truly a little one. You are human.
I remember the belching of the smoke of the This is so dumb. I love it.
I love this dumbass book.
Man, like, this is my favorite part of the book, is when the whale talks to dolphins. We gotta move on. We have to move on, because otherwise it's just gonna be this entire podcast talking about the whale talk.
We could just end it here. Mr. 3 shows up, they find an andalite, whatever, they get a new buddy. The whale's like, hello, little one. And he's like, I bring you my family. We're going to save you.
Yeah, like...
That's later. It's fine. Whatever.
This is not the last we'll see of this whale. We can bring him up then.
Oh,
We gotta go.
My favorite character in Animorphs is the Great One.
The Great One. We love him. Love to see it.
It's... Oh, God.
Anyways,
I felt strange leaving the whale, but when we were a mile away, I heard his song. Slow, mournful, haunting notes. Why didn't he sing more when we were with him, Jake wondered. I smiled inwardly. And of course, since I was a dolphin at the moment, I smiled outwardly too. He doesn't sing for the little ones, I explained. He sings for the mothers. What? Marco asked. He sings for mate. Ah, cruising for chicks. Got it. I wonder if the big old guy even realizes that he helped save my life. Marco, that big old guy realizes things you and I will never even be able to guess.
Quote of the fucking book! Marco, as well, those things we could never imagine.
Yeah, Marco. Oh, that whale's trying to bust, huh? Marco, he's trying to bust in our hearts.
I love it. I love that whale.
That whale will bust more in ways we can never know.
When he comes the universe, Marco. Within him is stars. Love that whale.
So
the next day,
Cassie feels immense guilt because she almost got Marco killed.
Right.
So she goes to Marco's to be like, bro.
But she goes to apologize. She goes there strictly to
Yeah.
say, I'm sorry I got you in this situation.
I'm sorry this happened. And Marco's like, it's fine. It's fine.
We're fine.
We're fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. And you get a peek into Marco's house of his dad in his robe just blankly watching TV.
Yeah, like, he would rather not have the apology because he wants to hide his life. He wants to make sure that Cassie does not know about his home situation, right? Which is, which is bad because,
right.
like, they keep on bringing up, like, oh, his dad goes from job to job. Like, they live in kind of a shelby apartment.
Marco has to take care of him.
Right, like, he has to, like, dress him before Cassie comes.
And it's...
Like, because, and like, oh, we can't talk inside. Let's just go to the hallway. We'll talk in the hallway.
Yeah.
Right, and
this is the first chapter that Marco's completely human.
Right.
He makes no jokes. He
He's afraid. He's afraid of Cassie, like figuring out that he is
human.
living a bad life.
Yeah,
right.
He's afraid of that, and also he doesn't feel like he needs to perform and be funny for his friends. Be like, no, we're all animorphs here. We know the risk. We know what's happening. It's fine.
Well, he doesn't blame Cassie. He blames the war. He's like, this isn't your fault that I almost got killed. It is the war's fault. It is the fault of us being involved in this thing. This is not on you.
Yeah.
Which is a very Marco answer to it.
And Marco's like, I'm alive. I didn't die. It's fine. And I really liked this bit. This is Marco speaking. Look, here I am, all alive, Marco said, tapping his chest. Get over it. I didn't have to go. It was my choice. Were you scared? For a while, he didn't answer. He just came over and leaned on the railing beside me. I'm scared all the time now, Cassie, he said at last. I'm scared to fight the Yeerks, and I'm scared of what will happen if I don't. I look at Tobias, and what happened to him scares me to death. What if I get stuck in a morph someday? And most of all, I'm scared of him. And they're talking about Mr. 3.
Yeah.
Who's a scary dude. But Marco, this is the first time he's vulnerable. He says, the first time in the construction site when he murdered the Andalite, Marco made a twisted smile. I see that pool in my head every day. Or I see that in my head every day. In the Yeerk pool. He shook his head. That's something I'd like to forget too. Yes, I agreed. There's been a lot of fear. So was I afraid yesterday? Bet on it. I was scared plenty. It was like, man, it's not bad enough we have to fight Hork-Bajir and Taxons in Visser 3, but we also have to fight sharks? Sharks? He laughed, and hearing him brought the laughter out of me. We both just stood there and giggled like idiots for a few minutes. It was that laughter you get after something really tense has happened. Relief laughter. We're still alive laughter.
Yeah.
And it's
good and it's honest, and he's being this way because he knows that Cassie's in trouble.
Right.
Like, he's doing the thing that he needs to do as a friend, and that's be vulnerable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he needs to let his emotions out, otherwise Cassie won't buy it.
Yeah. And it's a nice peek behind the veil of who Marco is.
Right.
He totally has a level-headed view of this. He is the smart one.
Yeah, he just has that hard front that he needs to have in order to maintain.
Oh, yeah, it's his coping mechanism.
Right.
I mean, I think you and I both have that similar coping mechanism.
Everyone does. I think everyone has that to certain degrees of just like, I need to be funny and put on this face, otherwise I can't function.
No, that's definitely you and me.
All right.
Well, most people, I don't think, have that specific one.
The Jakes of the world don't have
Yeah,
that problem.
the Jakes of the world who are just quietly eating dinner, who just sit there and stare blankly, thinking, I want to do the biggest jump.
My
no
favorite.
offense to the people who just want to do the biggest jump.
Honestly, little jealous of the people that just want to do the biggest jump.
Yeah.
That's a good life to live.
But Marco is burdened with the trauma of losing his mother,
Right.
having to care for his father, the loss of his innocence in childhood, and this was before...
Outside of the...
This
the
was
situation.
outside
Yeah.
of being an animorph. And now he's got the weight of saving the world and the only people who care about him dying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course he's going to be fucking scared all the time. And of course he's going to put up a strong front because Marco's not strong yet.
Right.
His strength comes from acknowledging that he has no fear. It comes from...
Acknowledging that he has nothing to... Well, he has everything to lose. He has
everything to lose, but he's going to make you think that he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, this is fucking stupid, and you're all stupid for doing this shit. Because I'm the funny one. And I know I do that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the go-to deflection mechanism for feelings. For like...
of children of trauma.
Right. Of expressing your emotions in a safe way. I think it's a safety mechanism because, like, if you are always funny and joking, then you are never taken seriously, and that is comforting.
You're not on the hook for having to share real, honest
Right.
emotions.
If
you will
somebody
never be punished for how you feel. Everything's just a funny joke.
Right. If somebody calls you out and like, hey man, just a joke.
Yeah.
I was just joking about saying I'm sorry or whatever it is that you were saying. Like, yeah. So it's good to peek. Like, I am excited for Marco's book.
It's
almost as I'm almost excited as for Marco's book than I was for Tobias's.
Yeah,
because I think that there's two different like stories of pain there that, like, you know, me being a pain pig, I want to like look in there like, yeah, let me see your trauma.
Let's peek in there.
You know.
So, and Marco, I think, gets Cassie to make the right decision, and it's this little bit. Cassie says, I think it is, but Marco, I don't know. She's saying, I think the dream is real.
Right.
But I don't know. If someone gets hurt, killed, just because I have these dreams, I can't make that kind of decision. Yes, but can you decide to do nothing? That's a decision, too. I had to smile. Marco, you know, for a guy who's always joking around and being annoying, you're awfully smart. Yeah, I know, but don't tell anyone. It would destroy my image. And it's like, I think I've said that same exact thing to people when they come to me for advice and I give them a piece of thoughtful advice. Because I'm the funny one.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this podcast. I'm probably not very funny at all. But at work, I like to be the funny one. I always make jokes. I cheer people up. And then I like to drop them truth bombs on them once in a while. And they're like, oh.
Then you got to undercut it immediately.
Oh.
Lest they know that you're cool.
Yeah. If they figure out that you actually care and are thoughtful, you're held to an entirely different set of standards. And you can't just run around yelling poopy doopy pants all day.
No, then you have to, like, you know, insert that cruising for chicks comment.
Yeah.
That you love to do.
I am going to go cruising for so many chicks with a red car with
Let's
horsepower.
get Thunderbirds. We're, like, almost middle-aged. Let's get Thunderbirds.
Oh, man. No. Let's get motorcycles.
Ooh, yeah, that's the way to get chicks. Chicks love motorcycles.
So
anyways,
Marco pushes her to be like, you can't do nothing. In this, you have to do something, which, hey, good for you, Marco.
Yeah, and the thing is, he actually does undercut it right after that serious talk. Mm-hmm. He talks like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we died to sharks instead of these, like, goddamn, like,
Yeah.
aliens from space? We just get eaten by sharks.
Yeah, and
Which is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
It's a funny image.
So they decide to have another meeting.
Right.
And they talk about how they got their latest clue from the whale, which they realize is fucking
Whale
stupid
clue.
as hell. Even Tobias says, have our lives gotten really weird, or is it just me?
Weird, Marco crowed. The talking bird who wants to know information on the location of an alien from a whale that just saved you from sharks by turning into dolphins. You're suggesting that's weird. And, like, I hate that sentence. I hate that phrase because I was on board with the ridiculous, and I think Catherine Alice Applegate is feeling Cassie a little bit too much here and feeling that self-doubt of the story that she wrote. Yeah. You know, like, you should just own the weirdness at this point. We get that it's weird, and, like, you know, we can acknowledge, like, that, but we want to read it as, that's rad. It's rad that this whale is talking to everybody. Yeah. Don't call it out as a weird thing, because, like, we don't need to hear it. It makes it dumb. You know, it underplays, you know, the wackiness of the situation that I like.
And and I don't think she's keyed into that yet.
Yeah.
Because, well, just having a huge chapter of growth for Marco immediately takes him back. But, yeah. I mean, that's who he is in a group setting. And I think that's honest what people do. That's what I do.
Yeah, I just, you know, it's what you would do in that situation. And I just don't like that she's acknowledged it in, like, that kind of shitty way. I think I would like to, like, you know, kind of say, wow, that was really weird, but cool, right? You know, like that sort of. Anyways.
And they talk about their next plan. Their next plan is they pull out some maps, and they think, because of the whale vision I was given, I think it's right here. So let's turn into seagulls, fly out to the shipping channel, ride a boat out to the spot, and then jump in and be dolphins and swim down there. And, like, as in terms of Animorph's plans, probably their best one.
It's not. I can't think of a better one, honestly.
No,
that's the move. Is just like sneak your way out into the middle. I want to think of a way to get back.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you get back from that?
They do kind of gloss over that. Ish.
They don't have a great plan for it, but it's like they have this attitude of, we'll figure it out.
Which, I mean, that's how we do things.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And they do. Spoilers, that they don't all die in the middle of the ocean. But, yeah. There's a good plan. And so they take a vote on it. Cassie says, I think she finally kind of owns the vision a little bit here. Mm-hmm. Right? And she's like, yeah, we should go.
Yeah.
I think they're real.
They have to be real. And one little bit of undercutting the growth that I think actually worked for Marco is when they put it to a vote and he was the first one to say he's in. Because, one, they all expect Marco to poop on the plan, because that's what he's done since the beginning.
Every plan, yeah.
But this time, he's like, yeah, I just wanted to beat Rachel to it, which I think is a funny, nice way of saying she understands who Marco is and who Rachel is. And that's a nice little bit of him being like, I'm going to go along anyway. I might as well stick it in this bitch's face.
It's a nice moment.
It is a nice moment. And Tobias is like, I don't think I should vote. I can't do it, so sorry.
Yeah, Tobias is like sitting on the bench this one, unfortunately. He got that cool watch, though.
He does have the badass watch.
Anyways, they turn into seagulls.
And...
Hey, have a sandwich. It's a salami. Look over there. Is that a jujube? Pizza. Part of the crust. It's one of those stuffed crusts.
That was my favorite detail. It was like, stuffed crust? Yeah, those were huge in the mid to late 90s.
I just love that like seagulls are just like obsessed with food and they just want to eat garbage. Because I feel that way too.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with food and I also just want to eat garbage. It's what we've been doing all day.
I see you, seagulls. So they just immediately turn to seagulls. And I'm just going to let you take your time.
No, just keep talking.
No, I can't say shit. You got a frosty brew over there.
I opened a frosty brewski. Milk espresso stout. Good stuff.
And getting drunk on that milk.
Oh, God. So
they turn into seagulls.
They fly out to the ocean.
Right. Tobias is there helping them along, and they all land on that boat.
There's not much. The seagulls are just like, let's see the Three Musketeers bar. Oh, a dumpster behind the McDonald's. Sweet.
Yeah, Tobias is keeping him on task, getting him to the boat.
Like a leader does.
Right. And he lands on the correct boat. They don't even see the boat, but Tobias is like, listen, I already read the ledger.
Yeah, Tobias is like, my eyes are super good, y'all suck.
The captain has a beard. Can't you see that?
Yeah. It's like, you fucking idiots, this boat's going to Singapore. Use your goddamn amazing bird eyes. And they're like, we just want to eat little smokies.
So Tobias lands on the boat, says later, and then flies away.
Yeah, and he says, it's been about an hour and a half. I gotta get the fuck out of here, because if you go too far, I can't fly back, and I'll just drop in the ocean and die. And they're like, whatever.
So they turn back into humans, and then just kind of sit between, like, cargo for the rest of the trip.
They sit on the boat, and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, we're just chilling out here in cargo. That was probably the most boring part of the book.
Well, they don't linger on it very long.
They don't.
And then they get to the location. Like, there's nothing really interesting happening here. It's just kind of, we need to get to the spot. We got there.
Right. And on page 98, you get exactly how shitty of a leader Jake is. So, we have to jump in with our human bodies. All except Marco. He can't swim. I thought he could morph up here and then we could all shove him over the side. Rachel looks skeptical. Jake, when Marco is in dolphin morph, he'll weigh like 400 pounds. Jake looked worried. I kind of didn't think about this when I was planning. It's like, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think about it either, but then again, I'm not in that situation.
Right. I'm not the leader of the Animorphs who has to come up with the plan to do all this. And it's fucking Marco who goes like, I'll just half morph and then you guys push me over and I'll finish morphing. So Marco's got the plans.
Yeah, that's actually, it's an impressive feat if you think about it. Like, you're half human, half dolphin on a rail. And it's like, just push me over and I'll finish before I hit the bottom of the water. Like, that's fast.
Yeah.
But that's what they do.
That's what they do and it works.
So he's in the water. Rachel immediately just says, wahoo! And just like fucking does a somersault into the ocean.
What I really liked was before they push Marco in, Cassie has her last moment of doubt, and she says, forget it, let's just morph back to seagulls and fly back home. This is insane. Insane, Marco echoed. Hey, that's my word. Look, we came this far. I don't care, I yelled, surprised at my own passion. I'm not going to be responsible for anyone dying. This isn't going to work. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what to do. Marco laughed. Excellent pep talk, Cassie. Now I'm really looking forward to this. It's like, yeah, that's the perfect use of Marco.
That's the only approach you can have in that situation. It's like, yeah, thanks. Bye.
And then she's like, Marco, this isn't a fucking joke. And Marco responds with his nose starts growing and turning into a dolphin. It's like, this moment is the moment where I loved Marco.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he even starts talking. I'm not going to turning into a dolphin. And they're like, whatever, just push him into the fucking water. And that's when Rachel
just does a cannonball.
Yells, yeehaw, jumped off the railing. So Rachel said, yeehaw! Rachel said with a wild grin. She jumped on the railing, balanced for a moment like the gymnast she was, then launched herself off in a neat swan dive.
Yeah, so Rachel, I think the rest just kind of jump in.
Yeah,
so Jake and Cassie just kind of jump in. And then she talked about the panic of, like, actually being in the wake of a giant cargo ship.
Yeah, which
would knock you around and, like, you know,
like
really
suck
figure
you
out.
down and fuck you up.
Right, and so, like, she's like, I gotta turn into I have to turn into a dolphin in the middle of the water, which is kind of freaky if you think about the process of turning into a dolphin.
Yeah, and it's like they're in freezing cold, miles deep water. Yeah, that's fucking terrifying. When I think of being on a boat and falling off, there's nothing scarier than just being out in the ocean.
Well, she's also partly drowned, too. Like, I broke surface and gasped over a lungful of air and a mouthful of salt water, and she just kind of went back down and turned into a dolphin. So she's kind of, like, drowning while she's doing it. But they turn into dolphins.
They turn into dolphins, have a good time, and they're like, okay, let's start heading this way. That's when they see the helicopter. The helicopter dragging a sensor on a cable, just plunking into the water.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh,
Yerks.
so yeah, the Yerks are here.
Yerks are here.
Because, we didn't mention it, but in the Marco chapter, he said on the news, someone had been like, oh, we're offering an award looking for sunken ship treasure, and there was a contest for who could be the best diver, which seemed like cover for controllers. So they knew controllers were going to be out here.
To nobody's surprise. I mean,
Yeah. So
they're being followed, but not like fall direct. They just
no, there's like this is the first
they're getting
time.
close.
This is the first time they're ahead of the Yerks,
right.
and it feels kind of nice.
Yeah. So they were looking around. They're doing their echolocation thing.
Yeah, they take a huge deep breath, and then they fucking dive. They dive and dive and dive when they come along to the dome.
Yeah, and like we'll think about the panic too. Of like, you know, dolphins can dive pretty deep, but they don't go into like the deep water.
Right,
they don't go where like sunlight doesn't penetrate.
Right.
So like they have to fight. Like they are feeling the way that dolphins suffocate, right? Which is probably a completely different and also terrifying way. Drowning is terrifying. Let's just lay that out. It's a bad way to die.
A very bad way.
Right. So but they find it. They're poking at the hatch. It's not opening. So they have that moment of like, oh, are we just going to die right next to this ship that's sunk underwater?
Right. And
eventually the hatch opens, right? And they get let in. They open the door. There's a brilliant flash, and they all go unconscious.
They morph back to human.
Right. They're human when they do this.
So they get into this little hatch. They see this dome that's just filled with blue grass, and there were trees like stems of broccoli, and other orange trees that were blue asparaguses. And there was a small lake with crystal clear blue water.
Yeah, there's like an ecosystem inside of this ship.
Under this dome, but they find a little hatch. They hit a button. The water starts to filter out, and they start to turn human. And that's when they enter. They get zapped, and they all pass the fuck out.
Right.
That's when they open their eyes. They're sitting on their back, and Cassie lets out a "yeah" when she hears a thought speak voice saying, "Do not move. I stunned you to see what you are. If you move, I will destroy you."
He stood on 4 delicate hooves, looking, at first glance, like a pale blue and tan deer or antelope, which, of course, at this point we know are Andalites.
They're Andalites.
I have a hard time. Every time the Catherine Alice Applegate describes what an Andalite is, it always ruins the image that I have in my brain. Like, he had a strong upper body, like a mythical centaur, with 2 small arms and many-fingered hands.
Yeah, that's the gross part. Like, 14 fingers or something.
Yeah, and like, the more I think about the descriptions of what an Andalite is, the less I like it. Because for me, I want my aliens to be able to conceptualize what they look like. Centaur, I get. It's a horse bottom, it's a human top.
Yeah.
Right? And then
with
like,
no mouth.
With, like, slit mouth, I'm like, okay, yeah, cool.
No, slit mouth, slit nose, no mouth.
No mouth, slit nose. Like, okay, that's a cool twist. Like, I can picture that more. Oh yeah, also he has horns with eyes on it, and
a scorpion's tail with a knife,
and a scorpion's tail with a knife, and he has hands, but not normal human hands. It has a billion fingers on it, and like, I feel like they just keep on. She keeps on adding more and weirder things to Andalites to the point where I just can't really picture what the hell an Andalite is anymore.
They're just centaurs. They're blue space centaurs with knife tails.
Well, that's the way that my brain defaults to. It's just like, oh, they're centaurs. They're blue.
They're blue centaurs with extra eyes and a knife tail.
Sure.
And that's, I mean, Marco comes to, and he says, please tell me that's a real Andalite, not Visser 3. And that's when the Andalite fucking, he bones out. He's like, What did you say? He's like, He shoots his knife tail right at Marco's face, and he says, Visser 3, do not speak that name, the Andalite thought spoke. Okay, Marco said slowly, whatever you want. And Cassie says, we're friends. Yeah. And the Andalite, I don't know you. But he withdrew his tail, and Marco started breathing again. You called me, I said. We've come to help you. Called? You heard my call? He fixed all 4 of his eyes on me. What are you? And that's when...
Human. A person of Earth.
We are humans. We are not great ones.
I've seen images of your kind. My call was to my cousins. How did you hear it?
I don't know, I admitted. I heard it in my dreams. So did a friend of mine. We guessed it was an Andalite. We wanted to help.
What do you know of Andalites? My people are not known to humans. You do not travel the stars. You know only your own planet. My elder cousins have taught me this.
We knew one Andalite. We were with him when he was killed.
The Andalite narrowed his main eyes. Who was this Andalite you say was killed?
I searched my memory for his name. He had told us, but it was a strange, long name. I can't remember all of his name, but part of it was Prince Elfinger.
The Andalite jerked as if he'd been hit. His entire body seemed to quiver. His deadly tail arched high in the air. Prince Elfangor! No one could kill Elfangor. He is the greatest warrior ever. No one could kill him.
Someone did, Jake said. Hold on, let me take that as Jake.
Yeah, please do.
Someone did, Jake said. We were there.
Who? Who do you claim killed Elfangor?
The one whose name you don't want us to speak, I said softly.
See, this shit happened before Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
We are so afraid of this guy that we can't even say his name. Because we know that you're just going to, throw your knife tail at us.
Which he did.
Right?
I mean, we come to find out that this Andalite is Elfinger's brother.
Right. And, it took me a second to realize, literal brother. Because, he calls people, cousins, brothers, it's very, maybe it's not a blood relation thing, but he's his brother, effectively.
Yeah, and the Andalite's like, you, human, do you fight the Yerks or do you serve the Yerks? I'm like, we fucking fight them. The Yerks took my bro, too. Let me take that as Jake. Yerks take my brother, Tom. Me lost brother, too. We are same.
With what weapons? Do you have powerful weapons?
Only the weapon your brother gave us, I said. The power to morph.
Elfangor gave you that? It has never been done. Alright, listen, I gotta stop doing this.
No, I fucking love this version of Axe. He seemed disturbed.
The situation would have to be very bad for him to give you the morphine capability.
The situation is worse than you think, Marco said. The Yerks seem to know you're here. Some piece of Andalite wreckage washed up on shore. They're up on the surface right now. For the first time, the Andalite seemed uncertain.
What is your plan?
To get you out of here and hide you, I said.
You came to rescue me? Is this true?
Yeah. Yes. He smiled with his eyes, just as Prince Elfinger had done.
You will be tired after this last morph. You will need rest.
A little while, yes, I agreed. What is this? Rachel asked. This dome, it's like a little park or something.
All right, we gotta speed this up. We're just reading the book.
This dome, they say, whenever the Andalites are traveling, they bring their own kind of terrain with them. They bring their home, which I think is an interesting and unique way to do a spaceship.
I like that because it serves two purposes. One, it gives them space to roam because I guess Andalites need space to run around and frolic and do what they do. And also, it metaphorically, it brings a bit of their home with them on their travels, so that way they don't feel, homesick and they don't...
And it shows that they have a connection to their home that's not a connection to technology.
Right.
Their love of home is the love of the actual home.
Their love of nature, the love of everything that lives at their home. Not just oh, yeah, no, Earth is a cool place. No, I love the forest and the trees and the mushrooms and everything that grows around in there.
And that's when he gives us his full name.
Right.
I am Aximili Escarouth Isthil.
Axe, Marco says. Pleased to meet you.
So it's like, they
this immediately, like Ellis Island is name, and
Yeah.
just like, hey, listen, we can't do this.
he's got this long Lovecraftian monster name, and they're like, we're just gonna call you Axe,
What's up?
and he just goes for it,
He's not. He gets it.
and he starts calling. He says, "Who is your prince?"
One by one, we all looked at Jake.
Oh, give me a break, Jake. Oh, give me a break, Jake said. I am not anyone's prince. But the Andalite stepped forward. He bowed his head and lowered his tail.
I will fight for you, Prince Jake, until I can return to my cousins.
So,
Yeah, like
Axis imprinted Jake.
so Axe is a follower, obviously. He's a serf.
And then
He's just, like, willing to serve.
we get some bitchin' names for Andalite, like,
Okay.
forestry. Like,
Tyler.
this is a Darishal tree.
Yeah, I was going to give you the quiz.
Okay, go
All
on.
right, here we go. So what is a Darishal tree? Explain it.
Oh, is
The first one.
Is it the broccoli one or the asparagus one?
It's the asparagus one.
Okay.
It's a tall asparagus-like tree. Okay. And that we call the Enos Earsmarf.
I have no idea what is that broccoli? Or is it like a giant mushroom?
That the way the lake curves into grass, framed by the Darishal tree. So it is like the way that the shadow kind of casts into the grass from the tree.
Man, this is sending my brain right into Z space.
Yeah, you're going right into Z space. Watch out for that nether fjord.
Sleaze trolls in the Nether Fjord. This is a great fucking book.
Yeah, but like... they're like, hell, you have a word for that? There are many names for all the many ways the water and the sky and the fields interact. And I hate that sentiment. It's like the Eskimos have 1,000 words for snow kind of sentiment. Mm-hmm. Like, no, it just means like wet snow, dry snow. It's like,
Right. And
it's not what that means.
It's fine. It's whatever.
It is what it is.
And he's like, wow, you aliens sure are weird, huh, fella? And that's...
And Rachel and Cassie think he's cute.
Yeah, they're like, wow, this centaur creature, he looks like he can fuck.
That's not what they say. They say he's cute.
Well, no, Rachel caught my eye and silently mouthed the words, he's cute. Then she winked, which I wasn't sure I agreed. Andalites are halfway between looking cute and looking scary. You can get past the weird stalk eyes and the fact that they don't have mouths, or at least not that you can see. But that scorpion-like tail is far from cute. It reminded me of the sharks. Rachel wants to fuck an Andalite, whatever. Either way.
No, like, whatever. Like, it's cute in the way that a puppy is cute. It's like, oh, look, he's proud of his home. Isn't that cute?
And this is the moment when they get a brief little reprieve here, and Axe gives them the complete scope of what they're dealing with.
Right.
Like, they had known that the Yeerks were on their planet. They wanted to take over, which they want to fight, but they didn't understand how terrible the Yeerks are.
There's that good serious moment, like, later, after the description of, like, don't you know who you're fighting?
Yeah.
Well, like, they've known they're being invaded, but they don't actually know much about the Yeerks.
Yeah, they just know they're bad brain slugs doing bad things. They don't know what the Yeerks do, and Axe tells them. Mm-hmm. They come to planets, they enslave them, they eat every species that they can.
Well, they kill the species that they can't eat,
yeah,
and then they farm the other animals that they can.
They suck the resources out. They completely change the landscape of the planet to be like the Yeerk planet, and then they move the fuck on.
So they're humans.
Oh
shit! Yeah, they're humans.
Woo! Not just humans, they're Americans.
Yeah, like, well, think about it. They move from planet to planet. They make themselves comfortable. They build their own ecosystem, and to hell with anything living there.
Yeah.
Unless they're delicious.
Yeah.
In which case, they're cool with them.
We're gonna eat the fuck out of them.
And they move on once the natural resources have been tapped without any sense of sustainability because they don't care. They just move on.
They are us.
They're humans. They're 100% humans, right? That's why Cassie kind of like makes a comparison, like, "Oh shit, we take over animals. Are we Yeerks?" Mm-hmm. And like, well, it's a blurry line, but there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between humans and Yeerks in this situation? We might feel bad about it.
Yeah, the difference between a human and a Yeerk is that a human might feel bad if there's nothing good on TV.
Yeah, but it's true though. Cassie does the same thing that the Yeerks do, but she feels bad about it. She's like, it's morally questionable, but like we're on your side, right, Dolphins?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not trashing on Cassie. She does make the right choice.
No, she does make the right choice.
But like that's the Yeerks are a human allegory, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good pull. I like that one.
Yeah. So they describe like the planets that they destroyed. They destroyed the Andalite homeland, from what I understand.
They destroyed pretty much. There's only Axe says there's what? Only 2 or 3 species left that still fight the Yeerks, and the Andalites are one of them.
Right. The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Marco or whoever is like, why don't you just kill him? And Axe is like, I can't say right now. It would be very bad. Some things cannot be said.
Because he's like, because he's the same age as everyone else.
Yeah, they find out that Axe is just a dumb teenager too. And he even admits, he's like, I wasn't paying attention in school. Which is a great fucking detail.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they taught us this, but I don't know.
I got bored. I was looking at comics. It's fine.
And it's like, that's okay. That's pretty good.
I mean, like, also, narratively, he has to be a kid. He cannot be part of the Animorphs if he's, like, 30.
Yeah, it's like... And so this chapter, like, the Tobias book and the Rachel book, her friend, in that sad life of parents being controlled, she had her reason to fight.
Yeah.
Tobias with price cut Polly, and
other reasons,
and him being trapped as a bird so that he might save others was his reason to fight.
Yeah.
Cassie realizing that the world would be destroyed and all the animals would be killed is her reason to fight. This is her fight.
Cassie, at her heart, is a naturalist. She wants to protect the Earth.
Yeah.
She wants to protect nature and all the creatures
which
living
is why
in it.
she's, which I think why she has that enlightened, if somewhat simple, view of death, because she knows for animals, death is just natural. They don't linger on it like humans do, which...
Is not what Marco does.
No, she kind of disassociates from human death, which is probably going to be a problem down the line.
Don't tell me that.
No, I'm not telling you spoilers. I'm just thinking, like, maturity-wise.
Sure.
So she sees that her planet, all these animals, the humans, everything, they're gone.
Right.
They're gone.
It's almost like she doesn't even care about the humans being controlled. It's that they're going to change the environment and just like they're going to salt the earth and move on.
They're going to destroy the world. It's going to be global warming forever.
And she wants, and she wants to stop that.
Yeah,
that is her motivation to stop the Yeerks. Isn't it because like she's worried about her family being taken over by Yeerks? It's not that she's worried about herself being taken over by Yeerks. It's that she's worried about the Yeerks killing everything that is not useful and then turning it into a fucking desert.
Yeah, which...
Hey, good point.
Yeah.
That's bad.
She's the Greta Thunberg of this group, I guess.
Yeah. It's bad. It's good on her, you know?
Yeah, I agree. She's got the least personal yet most noble reason to fight.
The message of this book has changed in the 30 years it's been out.
Yeah, quite a bit.
20 years? 20 years.
1996?
Doesn't matter.
God, 23 years.
But yeah, like, think about it. Climate change was different, you know?
It wasn't as immediate.
It's a different conversation. It's like, we need to save the future for our children. We were the children, and now everything is fucked.
God, isn't it like... I can't even imagine having a kid. How irresponsible is that?
We need to like...
thrust them into this life of burning misery. Hey, any girls want to go on dates?
Yeah. Let's have children together that will die in a terrible hellscape.
Oh, we need some more milk stout, my friend.
Here comes milk stout. Chug, chug, chug.
Choo choo, milk stout. Choo choo.
All right.
Why it's train? I don't know. Axe also says they'll probably be done with your planet in 2 years, because that's about what it takes. He says one of your years, maybe 2, is how long it's going to take for the Yeerks to take.
Well, they're also asking about reinforcements, right? Like, hey, when are the Andalites coming to save us?
And Axe goes, oh.
He doesn't know. Like, well, how can he know? He's just the kid that they brought.
Yeah, he was the youngling. I'm sorry.
The midshipsman.
The midshipsman. He's making night soil.
Don't say night soil.
Ugh.
Anyways, so essentially he's saying like, listen, I'm with you on this fight. I want to fight with you.
And I think this chapter ends pretty well. I followed him along with the others as we crossed alien land, heading for an environment just as alien, the ocean. I wished I could forget what Axe told us. I wish I could stop seeing the pictures in my head of of an Earth without birds and trees, an Earth where the ocean was empty and dead. Don't you know whom you're fighting? The Andalite had asked. Yes, now I knew. And that's Cassie's moment.
Right.
That's her moment.
Right. Now she knows.
And that's when the bombs start to drop.
Yeah, they're like, we need to leave the ship, and then like they start casually making a plan, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Pa-ping!
Pa-ping,
They, they get like pinged by the little sensor that the Yerks are flying along. They're like, okay, we need to get out now.
Yeah, and they started dropping depth charges, and there's explosions. And Axe is like, don't worry, I stunned something. I think it'll let me swim. Motherfucking Axe turns into a shark.
Yeah, he just like went out there, got a shark real quick.
He's already got the dopest morph out of these guys.
Yeah, but the thing is, the shark's slower. That's like,
it's slower, but it's a good fighter.
Yeah, I'd rather be a dolphin than a shark.
Because it sounds fun. You're horny. You get to kill things for fun.
You're faster. You can run away faster.
My things are also valid.
They are not.
I love being horned up and eating fish.
Anyways, they escape and they start...
Just gloss right over that.
Think of that Mr. Show sketch where they're in that boat and like, I'm gonna fuck me a fish.
Last thing I do before I die, I'm gonna fuck me a fish. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I die, I'm gonna fuck me a fish.
Okay, dolphins actually do that. They do that to eels.
Fuck a fish?
Yeah, they like just find like random eels and like have their way with them.
I am so sorry that you had to do dolphin facts. I'm so sorry that you're burdened with this knowledge and this pain.
Like, you hear those reports of like the people at Facebook who have to like do the censorship and like, censor out the bad images.
Yep.
That's what I had to do with dolphin facts. My brain will not be the same.
Totally fine. Hey, I think after that third beer, your brain's going to be doing just fine.
They escape the ship. Everyone else has a dolphin. Axe, which is a great name, actually.
Axe is a pretty good name.
Let's call out how good of a name Axe is. Axe as a shark, and they all swim away. And they're like, okay, so what kind of species do the Yerks have? And Jake's like, they have Hork-Bajir. And Axe like, good. Oh, good. They can't swim. Hork-Bajir can't swim. They're terrible in water. So let's keep on going. And Jake's like, oh yeah, they also have taxons. and Axe is like,
oh fuck.
Taxons can swim.
And that's when they look up and they see Visser 3's blade ship above the water.
And these like centipede monsters just dropping in.
The blade shit just shits out 12 centipedes into the ocean, and those motherfuckers are coming.
Oh god, okay, just to point out, like, centipedes, out of all the things I'm afraid of, centipedes I think are the one that I'm 100% afraid of.
Oh yeah, you put a centipede in the ocean, I'm fucking terrified.
No, like, not even like a giant centipede with like their million legs and their like pincer face. Awful.
And they just want to eat you.
But as it turns out, very squishy.
Very squishy.
Because like they try to swim away, the taxons are too fast.
Way too fast, yeah.
Because like they can just snake their way through the water, so they turn around and Axe has this great line, which is, tell me... sorry, let me put on my Axe voice.
Please.
Tell me, I have a feeling this body might be able to fight. Is that true? Yes, Axe, sharks can fight. Then, Prince Jake, shall we deal with this taxon scum?
Don't call me Prince, Jake said. And the answer is yes. Let's go kick some taxon butt.
That's such a dumb line. It fits Jake, though, because he's dumb. He's a dumb simple brain.
They find that the dolphins can easily dispatch the taxons.
God, they just, like, explode left and right.
It's like, I'm terribly afraid of centipedes, too. But there's something cathartic.
Yeah. I expected it to be like the shark. Hard, tough, unyielding. It was not. It was like hitting a soggy paper bag with a sledgehammer. The taxons burst like a dropped watermelon.
I wanted to throw up. I beat the water with my tail and recoiled from the horrible scene I'd created.
So good. Because, just imagine just hitting something and having an exploded viscera. Just an explosion of, just bug guts in the water that you were then breathing. So they wrecked the
Scientists
tank.
believe that sharks are one of the oldest species of animals still in existence. Nature built them as perfect predators, perfect killing machines, nature hasn't had to revise or update them much. They were built right the first time. It's like, that's how they're describing Axe killing and eating these taxons, which I loved.
Yeah. So they just wreck all the taxons. Like,
and they're like, all right,
cool.
let's get the fuck out of here.
Got it.
And that's when they hear what is one of my favorite sound effects.
Woomph, woomph, woomph.
Before that.
Oh, no.
So, first, before we get to that,
okay.
Axe says, we have been in morph for approximately 30% of the safe time, because his brain can keep track of that, because he's an animal.
Smart. Yeah. I'm a little bit sad, though, that like we then get rid of the watch-wearing hawk.
I know,
trope.
they just introduced the hawk with a cool watch, and they're taking it away.
Yeah.
And then we hear... Something hit the water. I heard a huge concussion behind me, like someone had dropped a big truck in the water. What was that? Marco wondered. Something hit the water, I said. Something big.
Woomph, woomph, woomph.
Okay, now what is that? Rachel asked. I rose to the surface to breathe and look around. 2 surface ships were still closing in, but they were not very fast. And they were not gaining on us. The blade ship had disappeared. I scanned the sky in all directions, but I couldn't see it. Does anyone see the blade ship, I asked? No, but that doesn't mean it isn't still nearby, Jake said. It may have recloaked.
Woomph, woomph, woomph.
Skip ahead a little bit. Jake, Marco, and Rachel all echolocated. It's after us. Whatever it is, Rachel said. It's big, it's fast, and it's after us, Marco agreed.
Woomph, woomph, woomph.
I rose to breathe again and looked back at just that moment. I saw, far behind me, a huge, dark red, almost purple hump above the water. It seemed to be covered with hundreds of small fishtails, beating frantically. I went under. Axe, there's something back there. I don't think it's from Earth. I described to him at least what I had seen of it.
Mardrut.
Axe said. Mardrut? What does that mean?
A Mardrut is a beast that lives in the oceans of one of our Andalite moons. To think that a filthy York scum on our own moon, acquiring our animals...
Axe, look, what is a Mardrut? I asked him.
It's a very large creature that swims by shooting water out of its 3 large chambers. It makes a sound. Woomph, woomph, woomph.
A sound like that? Marco asked.
Yes.
So they're swimming, and this Mardrut is...
Mardrut? Mardrut?
Mardrut? How do you want to say it?
Mardrut.
Mardrut. I like Mardrut.
Yeah.
Mardrut.
Alright.
And so you understand that this is Visser 3 in a morph.
So I'm just picturing like this ball with a bunch of like tuna fish tails just kind of slapping back and forth on the back.
With 3 water cannon assholes propelling it forward.
Well, you know, like you've seen like octopus, like how they have the little jet things.
Oh, yeah.
It's just 3 of those.
Yeah. And so we jump ahead. The Mardrut never tired. It never weakened. It gained on us, a foot at a time, bit by bit. I could see it now, a huge purple and red mottled bag that undulated and oozed through the water. It was propelled by 3 huge water sacks, firing one after another. Between those loud bursts, the hundreds of tiny tails that covered its entire surface thrashed and kept up momentum. Woom, woom, woom. Then he spoke. We had all heard that silent voice in our head before. It was like hearing the most terrible curse. It was pure malice. Hatred poured directly into our brains. I am coming for you, brave Andalite warriors, Visser 3 sneered. I am coming for you.
Andalites, come out to play, yay! So good.
I fucking love Visser 3.
Visser 3 rules.
He's so...
Every time he comes up, I'm like, yes, get him, Visser 3. Tear him apart.
And the way that his voice affects him, that voice churned my insides. I felt my own hatred flaring up to match his. The image his axe had painted, an earth brown and empty and filled with nothing but the slaves of the Yerks. I had lived my entire life without feeling hatred. It is a sickening feeling. It burns, and sometimes you think it's a fire that will never go out. I am coming for you. You will be mine. Shall I make you controllers, or shall I simply eat you? The time for me to decide draws near. You weaken, your time runs short.
I don't know if this is what you're bringing to Visser 3, but I like that he feels a little bit like opulent and bored.
Oh yeah, just the whole...
It's like, what should I do with this prey? Yeah.
I love that about him.
Man, like he's so good as a villain. Like, Hollywood, what the fuck are you doing? make more villains like this.
Oh my god, just an evil and loving it villain. They
Right.
just don't have those.
No, not at all. And it's just like, can't I just have that one joy of just someone who fucking loves being evil and it's striking fear into the hearts of men? That's great.
Yeah, and that's all they want.
Like, when I was reading this part, I got, like, strong visions of, like, Freddy. Mm-hmm. You know, of just like, I'm chasing you at Invincible and you're gonna die.
Yeah, I'm going to get you. Eventually you're going to run out of speed, energy, or stay in this form forever, and I'm going to fucking destroy you.
Yeah.
Or as my dad would say, and he said this to people, I've seen it, I'm going to fucking annihilate you, you piece of shit. That's...
It's good, and, like, they don't have a great response. Everyone's afraid. Like, Axe is just, like, terrified.
Yeah.
Like, that like, Axe needs a pep talk, honestly, in this part, because, like, he is, like, succumbing to fear.
Yeah, he's never felt this before. This is new to him. And Cassie's the only one who just sends out a lone prayer into the ocean.
Right.
That's her thing. She's like, please, I don't want to die. There's a monster after me, the Destroyer, the evil one. Help me.
I shook with terror. I was too tired to swim away. Help me, I cried one last time, but I knew that there was no help. And then I let it all go and said goodbye.
It's
like this chapter ends on just like, I'm gonna die. Please help.
And the next chapter,
the universe.
The next chapter starts with our boy, Visser 3. I've made up my mind what to do with you, Visser 3 said. After this long chase, I am really quite hungry.
I love a villain that answers his own rhetorical question.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I was actually thinking about what I was going to do, and yeah, I'm going to eat you, so, you know.
They said, we don't want to die cowards. Let's at least hurt him as much as we can. Mm-hmm. He rushed at us. We rushed at him. Something dark came hurtling up from the ocean floor. Something dark and long and bigger even than the Mardrut. Vroom! Mr. 3 shuddered and stopped dead in the water. A second dark shape as fast as the first. Vroom!
They're great ones, I whispered.
It's the whales! Marco yelled.
Like,
Cassie prayed into the water.
Yeah.
Called her whale buds.
No, like, not directly. Like, she sent a prayer out into the universe, and the universe answered in the form of a whale pod.
Yeah, and it's...
and
the whales fuck Visser 3 up.
The two big males who had struck first had heads like sledgehammers. Sperm whales, 60 feet long, 45 tons, the weight of 20 cars.
Oh, and my kit says 65 tons. They revised animal facts.
Yeah, there you go. Corrections work, everybody. But, like, also, notice that they're now sperm whales. Like, is this a different pod of whales that heard the call?
No, the one whale is there. The one whale's still there, but he said he brings his friends.
Like,
then
this book is insane.
And then it goes, the Mardrut was big, the Mardrut was strong, but nothing living can survive for long, being slammed by creatures weighing 130,000 pounds. Then the whale, my whale, because that's how I thought of him, began to lash the Mardrut with its tail. Hammer blows. Hits that could have knocked walls down again and again as two smaller females joined in and the two sperm whales circled back for another attack. Visser 3's cry of pain and fury echoed in my brain. Visser 3 gets punked by these fucking whales.
Here's what I love about this, is that Visser 3 found, like, the most terrifying animal he could that swims underwater. And still, like, our normal human, like, Earth whales are, like, totally wrecking his shit.
Yeah, just fucking him up.
You never think of, like, aliens being weaker than species on Earth.
No, you really don't.
Because you're used to them. You know them. They're a known quantity. Mm-hmm. I mean, whales are terrifying if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, you don't think of them as, like, a nightmare alien creature. But, like, hey, maybe whales are nightmare alien creatures for aliens, you know? Like,
it's... So, this next part I fucking loved. Thanks, big guy. That's what Cassie says to the whale. People who argue about how smart whales are, or whether they are as smart as humans, kind of miss the point. Whales will never read books or build rockets or do algebra. In all those areas, humans are smarter. Humans are the great brains of planet Earth. But it isn't necessary to believe whales are as smart as humans to believe that they are great. They don't have to know words to sing songs. They don't have to be anything but what they are to be magnificent. And even though I don't really know what a soul is, I know this. If humans have them, then so do whales. I wanted to thank him for responding to my call for help, but I had a strange feeling as he opened his great heart to the dolphin mind that was in my own, that he hadn't just come in response to me. I had the feeling, and that's all it was, a feeling, that in some way the sea itself had called him to respond to the presence of an abomination.
Mother Gaia will save us.
Mother Gaia?
But, like, that's kind of what that is, though, right? Is
Yeah.
that, like, the soul of the planet, acting through animals, will destroy any threats.
Yeah, and they're almost in their 2-hour limit, so they morph back, and the whale carries them all to an island.
Yeah, like, they just kind of ride under the sunset on the top of this whale.
Yeah, they ride onto the whale. And then they get to they skip ahead a little bit, they morph back into dolphins and swim back to the river to where they originally got in. And that's when Axe does his thing.
Oh god, the terrifying thing that he does?
The terrifying thing.
Because,
he
like,
meets Tobias, and
they have a moment, right, of just like, oh, you're one of the fallen ones, and he shares respect because he treats, like, the ability to morph as a curse, right, more than it is, like, a weapon.
yeah.
Of, like, oh, we cursed you for kids, and you're, you know, like, Tobias, you are a victim of that curse, and I apologize.
Yeah, and I fucking liked that.
Because, like, yeah, you're right, like, every weapon is a curse. Like, you know, it affects you when you have to use it. And it affected Tobias a lot.
A lot. In which we got... So, Axe says, I have to morph. And that's when he walks up to Cassie and goes, with your permission. She doesn't give permission. He just touches her forehead and felt... Cassie, this is Cassie. I felt myself getting spacey. Not sleepy exactly, but sort of like I was in a trance. He acquires all of the Animorphs.
Right, because they want to, like, walk back home, but they can't walk back with a centaur, like a blue tan centaur with eye antlers.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, what are you going to do? It's like, oh, and he acquires every single one of the Animorphs.
And he fucking melds them into one.
Right, which is an ability I never really thought about. Like, oh, what if you can combine animals into, like, a strange mythological creature? But that's what he does. He combines all of them into, like, this alien boy.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't want to say if they ever mix animals or anything.
All right.
But food for thought.
Food for thought.
But they do question of whether he's going to be a boy or a girl.
Right.
And he just says, I'm a boy because I'm a boy.
Yeah.
Or I'm male because I'm male.
Well, he stutters a little bit because...
Yeah, because he's figuring out his mouth.
He's not used to having a mouth.
Yeah, I chose to be male. He stopped suddenly, eyes wide. He was surprised by his mouth. It was not something Andalites understood. I chose male because I am male. Word, male. Is that a good choice? Choice. Choice. He twisted his lips around and stuck out his tongue. Strange, he said.
Yeah, this is a real, like, Brendan Fraser caveman moment of, like, I know what's going to happen with Axe. It's going to be that, like, oh, he's a fish out of water. We have to teach him the ways of man. You know? So, yeah, they give him, like, some leftover, like, t-shirt and boxers and, like, let's all go home, everybody.
Yeah, and they decide that he's going to live in the forest behind Cassie's house because they have a lot of open space for him to frolic. Likely he'll have food there or whatever.
He needs to frolic. And, well, they need a spot that's out of the way because he can't stay human forever.
No, he's got 2 hours.
He's got 2 hours. So it cuts ahead a couple days later. Axe is frolicking in the field far away from curious eyes. And Cassie just has this urge to go back to the gardens. Right? She goes...
she flies there as a seagull.
Right.
She lands near the dolphin tank and becomes human again.
Right. And she goes there to apologize to the dolphins.
Yeah.
Right, because she acknowledges that it's weird to be acquired without permission, right? Like, you know, she can't give them... Dolphins and animals in general can't give permission for shit.
No.
Because they don't understand the world of man. So instead she's like, okay, I'll just morph into a dolphin and just kind of be with you guys for a little bit.
Yeah, they'll just play. It's like one of them... But, you know, once I was in that dolphin body again, it was hard to remember all my solemn worries. It was hard to remember why I had come. Hard to remember fear and worry and guilt. One of them came over, gave me a nudge, then shot towards the surface. She exploded in the air and fell back, as silent and smooth as an arrow. They were asking me to play. They were asking me to dance with them. And so I did. And that's the end.
The end. That's a nice touching ending.
Yeah, it's not a cliffhanger. but it's also not wrapped up.
It shouldn't have been a cliffhanger, I think,
No.
because like really, this is the Cassie story, and this is her arc. She found her motivation.
She got her motivation, and she's going to honor and respect the animals and the life around her, because she even says earlier in the book that she gives care to animals that desperately need care but are incapable of understanding that.
Right.
And that she still loves them and gives them the care. That's Cassie. That's who she is.
Right. Did you like this book?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and
I liked it.
I liked it for different... I think I liked different parts of it for different reasons.
Like what?
Well, like, I liked the character building. I like any character building, honestly. I still want more out of Cassie.
Yeah.
Like, I want more out of the character of Cassie. I want more of the timidness and the anxiety that comes along with Cassie.
This was definitely a great introduction of to who she is, why she's fighting, and the passivity of being an empath.
Right. It's a book that needs to happen more often with Cassie than any of the other characters, because she doesn't vocally express herself.
No.
She kind of faded into the background for most of the books as just the friend who had the zoo.
Like the friend who cared but was quiet.
Right, and like you won't be able to know that character unless you're in her brain somehow, or if she like has a dramatic moment.
Which she has a really good book coming up.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to know more about Marco. Like, I like the Marco character development, too, because I think learning about Marco through the eyes of Cassie is also kind of interesting. And I also liked the fucking whale. I love talking to whales, feeling the great ones.
The great ones
flow
man.
through me.
Just a whale that says gratitude.
Just getting those chill vibes with chill whales.
Chill, I mean, this, I can say, all jokes, all irony, all defense mechanisms aside, this is a good vibes podcast.
Sure. Like, not once have we ragged on these books as being, like, dumb or, like, something to be mocked. Like, I don't think...
except for Jake.
Well, Jake sucks.
I mean, he's good vibes, he's just boring.
He is. Like, Jake sucks, he shouldn't be the leader.
Tobias is the leader.
Yeah. But, like, none of these podcasts, like, none of these recordings have we, like... had active disdain for these books.
No, nor the characters, nor the author.
Right. And like, it's a good vibes podcast. And I think, like, Cassie is a good vibes character. And even though, like, I kind of, like, I was overly critical. Beers.
Ooh, we've had 3 beers. Oh.
I was overly critical of the hippy dippiness of it during the whale section. But, like, ultimately, like, I think I... agree. I'm a naturalist at heart. It's tragic that the things that are happening around the world with extinction. I think that we are burning books that we will never have the opportunity to read again when it comes to, you know, the diversity of species. And we are 100% Yerks.
And we're 100% at fault.
Right.
And our own passivity is causing more. Right.
And through Cassie and this book and, you know, the whales, I feel that... it's a way to kind of have a strong allegory for nature needs a defender, which again, like, has been tainted by, you know, mocking of the generations past of like the hippies, of those who say like, yeah, we need to speak for the trees, man. You know, like, but like honestly, like, yeah, kind of.
We have to.
Like let's remove the like. You know, the Lorax from the situation, just like speak honestly and coldly and say like, actually, no, we do need to protect nature. It's important.
Yeah. Poison Ivy was right.
Poison Ivy was right.
Let's
like,
kill all the men and just be lesbians and with plants.
Here's an actual thing. If I were to give you this button that said kill all humans, would you press it?
And I'd hit it so many times until it got me.
I mean, like, it would get you too. Just saying.
You have 24 hours to press it as many times as you can.
Slap. Yeah. So I guess like.
Well, I don't. All humans may be bad. Is it the right thing to do? Yes. But if we were to kill all the humans who
didn't give you a button that said kill some humans.
I just want to kill some humans.
Anyways,
I want to kill some humans for fun. I am a dolphin.
We are all dolphins here in Animorphs. I like this book. I recommend it.
We're still on the Animorphs train.
We're still on the good books on Animorphs trains. I have a feeling that we're going to hit a bad one real soon. It's gonna happen.
So there's some stuff in these books that kind of suck, but it's fine.
We're gonna hit it.
We're gonna go into it. We're gonna be open-minded. We're gonna come in it with good vibes.
Good vibes. The podcast.
So that's Animorphs number 4. The message. Catherine Alice Applegate. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We'll do the Twitter thing.
Yeah, do your Twitter thing.
Yeah, at Batenoid, BATENOYD.
Yeah.
On Twitter. It's my name, but like I swapped some words around for fun.
So I got a few plugs. One is our Animorphing Time Twitter. That's what it is, at Animorphing Time. Recently changed it from Animorphin to Animorphing Time, so sorry, old episodes. You'll find it. It's fine.
Don't care. I don't have the password for that one.
It's fine.
It's secret.
I've been then there's my Twitter.
Okay.
UFIRVWO. That's just me.
Yeah.
I just get drunk and post.
Yeah, just post, everybody.
And the third thing is human sex. It's fun. Try to do it.
Human sex, you know what? Don't do like Axe did and just do it without talking.
No.
Get permission before you acquire.
Yeah, you definitely... like, honestly, joking aside, consent is probably the most important thing on this fucking planet.
Right. And yeah, with that, let's end it with... I love them whales.